You're on camera. Say something.
Last night and night before, there was 3 women walking down the street that way. I saw them. I said, hey, you 3 women, why are y'all walking down the street that way? There's nothing down there. And they flew away. I said, oh, them was some birds.
amigo, la examine book.
Aguante Blancanieves, guacho.
It's gonna take a lot to flip this line around. More than cutting lore into a different mood. I miss the rains down in Africa. Gonna take some time to be honest too. We remember it's your voice.
Took a little bit of ice, a little bit of shrooms. Did that?
VIP 房同卡拉 OK，
咁抵食，
全天供應添。
乳鴿都只係16蚊9毫9。
千里小炒王有4間。
People, I need to show you something here. Why I married the best woman in the whole world. She made a giant metal T-Rex. She welded this shit. Her name is Regina, by the way. Look at this. I mean, look. Look at the detail. Look at the eye. Look at how beautiful that is. This thing's like 6 feet tall. My wife welded a giant metal Tyrannosaurus Rex. If I had known that one day I would marry a woman who could weld a giant Tyrannosaurus Rex, I don't know what I would do. Like, as a kid, I just don't know how I would process that information. This is the coolest thing in the world, and my wife is the best. That's all I gotta say. That's all.
Let me guess, Tiny, a small salad?
Kakaroto.
We serve food here, sir.
I got it already, Squidward.
Don't beat yourself up over past mistakes. You are going to fuck up again in the future, quite possibly in a most spectacular fashion. Why worry about yesterday's fuck-ups when you have tomorrow's fuck-ups to look forward to? You are a fuck-up, and fucking up is part of your growth process. Embrace the process.
Yo, not my proudest fact. What a sight. Barrel fat protect, barrel fat protect. $35 Kong Ho, shame ignites. Barrel fat protect, barrel fat protect. Alright, stop, stack the plush and listen. Donkey Kong spells my secret mission. That banana hole's got me acting shady. Fapping in the dark, feeling kinda crazy. Will it ever stop? Yo, I need a guard. 15 inches deep, this is way too hard. To the extreme, I'm a fool with a toy. Nintendo's mad, but I'm lost in the joy. Dance to the rhythm of my regret. Supervision's due, but I ain't there yet. I'm fapping to a plush that's too bold. That DK logo's watching me unfold. Love it or leave it, I'm caught in a jam. Roommates might see, oh, the ultimate scam. If this is a problem, yo, I'll hide it. Check out my shame while my soul's divided.
Not very steeped in the comics.
I didn't read any comics or do any research.
I wasn't familiar with comics. I wasn't familiar with the movies.
We didn't lean into a whole lot of the history of the comic books.
Yeah, candidly, we were not enormous comic fans.
I wasn't super into superhero comics when I was a kid. I read a lot of like indie press stuff.
First thing I was told is don't read the comics.
Really?
As a creator, they put you in a bubble. They don't let you talk about any of the other projects, right?
You know, they're up for anything.
We ultimately decided to redefine it for the series and thought that it worked better for the story that we're trying to tell.
Did you ever read you never read the comic?
When the DVD comes out, I'm going to read a Thor comic book and just see where we went wrong.
Mama, we must run. The Wendigo Yakuza are here.
We'll be okay. We're not alone.
Where did we park the van?
Cider took it to deliver those flowers.
You all don't stand a chance. Underneath the moon's cold light, whispers linger in the night. Shadows dance with subtle grace. Secrets hide in every space. Velvet skies and sapphire dreams. Cities pulse, electric beams. Lonely hearts in shadowed bars. Fading tales beneath the stars. We dance in twilight's tender glow, where time moves soft and slow. Eyes meet in a silent song, in the night where we belong.
We haven't checked in on China in a while. Let's see how things are going in China. Oh, not great. Oh. Wow, that truck looks like it drove off the edge of the road. That can't be good. Here to help me decipher this engineering mystery is the lovely Miss Nerdigan.
Hi, Cider. Hi, Bounding into Comics fam. It's been a minute.
Definitely. So much so that apparently people are driving off the roads in China. Let's find out. Talking about a hoe. Oh. Oh. That used to be a whole ass bridge. That's the problem here. Is this fella didn't drive off the road drove off without him.
Yeah.
So there's a rule about building bridges. You don't build them on things that on ground that looks like it's going to move away. Typically, building them on the side of a hill, not such a great idea, especially in a land known for limestone. When it comes in contact with water, it rapidly erodes. I don't know why this guy's still in the truck. Like I don't know what he's doing there. Like I don't know. Maybe he just can't get out. He can't figure out a way back. I'm not sure, but I would be trying to figure out how to get out of there other than just be like, hey, man, can you call a tow truck? There's no signal, by the way, so whatever washed out the bridge also took out the Miracle 5G towers. I don't know about you, but this is like, that's like, I don't know, like 40, those are trees. That's not a bush. Those are trees. So I'm going to say that this is like, I don't know, 30, 40 feet up. Like that's terrifying. Like you're just there. The only thing holding you is Optimus Prime's ass end, okay? Like that's crazy. You got to pray that the guys at the semi truck manufacturing company didn't take like an easy day, you know? Look at that. It's like a water main just gushing down the side. Oh, China. Oh no, there's a car. There's like there's like a whole, so somewhere upstream, all this came from. Somewhere up the hill, it started running. And the cars are down there. From uphill. Yeah. Look at that. That whole truck is just off. It's gone. I'm still astonished that the guy's just in there, you know, having a coffee, a cigarette. That's scary. That's terrifying. You're like 70 feet off the ground, man. It's crazy. Oh, well. We do have a bit of other questionnaires, reminders going around. Did want to remind you guys that exactly, I need to fast forward this to a part where we can actually look at it, was 26 years ago today was the premiere of The Great Teacher Onizuka. That's right. GTO hit the air in Japan 26 years ago today. Well, yesterday for
God, like also during our little break, I think it was like the 29-year anniversary of the Nintendo 64. God, I feel so old, man. It's time just flying.
Well, speaking of that, there's a new great debate on the internet now. You remember Hulk versus Superman, Superman versus Goku? Well, now it's Goku versus Goku versus Goku versus Goku because of the art style. So I, for one, prefer the classic one because Goku looks ripped AF. Okay. And I prefer that look. Just saying. Get that pun?
Yeah, just saying.
But that's just me. But there's a new great debate tearing apart friendships, marriages, and whole nations. So expect several civil wars in Eastern European countries because of this. Estonia is probably already arming himself.
Nah, that's probably Latin America that this debate
That's true.
Probably.
This will be why Brazil has its second civil war. Third.
Maybe more so like Mexico and maybe Colombia.
Yeah. So what you're telling me is instead of engaging the cartel in open firefights, we should debate them about which art style Goku is the best in, and then let them eat each other.
I mean, the cartels like literally stopped their drug activity or their criminal activity to go watch Dragon Ball. So
we can't sell drugs today. Why not? It's a new episode of Dragon Ball.
That's serious.
Oh, I understand. But speaking of good news that affects the whole world, Taika Waititi's Akira, say that 10 times fast, has been canceled by Warner Brothers. Now, Warner Brothers not had a fantastic history with movies in general lately, big and small. So not only is Taika Waititi's penchant for not absorbing the material he's meant to translate not going to be a problem here, but also WB's curse of interfering with any good idea anybody's ever had. So,
well, at least American Warner Brothers, like Japanese Warner Brothers, it is a different story because they are the ones like behind a lot of good titles, like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, for example. So,
but I do have bad news. Apparently, Adi Shankar is trying to muscle his way into this open opportunity of Hollywood's curiosity around the fabled Akira Toriyama live action. No, not Akira Toriyama. Came out. No.
You meant Akira.
Yeah.
He already got the blessing from the Duke Nukem developer, the original developer.
Sorry, I'm just.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw that. I don't know if you saw
Katsuhiro
that.
Otomo. That's right.
Yeah, you mean Otomo,
Sorry,
Akira.
my
But
bad.
yeah,
I got it
I don't
mixed
know
up.
if you saw that or not, but like last week, the developer, the original developer of Duke Nukem, gave Adi Shankar his blessing to develop his own Duke Nukem show because Duke Nukem hasn't gotten anything.
It's true. It's true. And the thing is that Duke Nukem, a lot like Doom Guy, doesn't have like a super expansive kind of lore. You know, Doom Guy does a lot of dooming. Okay, Duke Nukem does a lot of Duke Nukeming, and that's kind of the end run of them, and that's not a bad thing. But when you go and try to make a show out of that, you got to come up with a lot of other stuff to fill in the parts where they're not killing, which in the video games was not a problem. We called those loading screens. So that's kind of the issue we have here with this. For instance, like if Adi Shankar got a hold of this, it'd be the same situation we had with Devil May Cry, where somehow, some way, something that is completely alien to this franchise will find its way in, like the Iraq-Afghanistan war, somehow finding its way into hell. Very bizarre situation. So I'm very glad that nobody presently is going to try and make a live action Akira. I'm sure.
Yeah, the only thing that's happening Akira wise is Sunrise doing the anime reboot, which I think is fine. Let them do it. Sunrise did the original one too. I think Sunrise was the one that did the movie as well, if I remember correctly. But yeah.
So we do have Dungeon 00X here saying the only way he could make a good show is if he gives Duke the Demolition Man treatment. And this is kind of what I'm saying, is that Duke isn't hard to do. It's just Addy's penchant for adding things that don't belong to a franchise or are germane to it anyway. Like, again, the Iraq-Afghanistan war finding its way into Devil May Cry. Like, what? You know, and so that's, again, you know, when Green Day's song about it at that, you know? The most dated of dated references there could be. And again, like, if they gave him the Demolition Man treatment, again, it's another situation where Duke is a fish out of water. So you've got, like, Addy's social commentary that'll end up leaking through. And right now, he ended up sticking Asmongold into Devil May Cry somehow. So
that just I'm sorry, that just makes it even cringier.
It's really weird, right? It's really weird. Like I don't like to see real life people in media like that. It just, I don't know.
It's like different when it's like something like South Park, for example, when they're doing like a parody on like streamers.
I guess. I mean, half the Simpsons like legacy is predicting celebrity movement and the Trump.
Well, like they actually they didn't even animate Mr. Beast. Or not Mr. Beast. It was PewDiePie. I'm sorry. They didn't even animate PewDiePie. They just had him like play Call of Duty and have PewDiePie like make an actual appearance. And that didn't bother me because it was just literally making fun of streamers or gameplay, gameplay streamers, and that didn't bother me at all. Like it's South Park doing South Park. It doesn't bother me. But like, and as you said, Simpsons, that's the whole Simpsons shtick. But like when you're doing it with like something like Devil May Cry, well, South Park did. Yeah, I mean, South Park did it with Stick of Truth, but again, that's a whole South Park shtick.
It's meant to be a parody show, and somehow Addy got the idea that Devil May Cry should do Family Guy things, and it's just not all the way. Obviously, this is a shortcut in order to metaphor the examples of having such a random character who is, of course, a jokey kind of character in his own franchise, but not to this degree. But again, this is interpretation and things like that, and we don't know. Addy could knock it out of the park with this Duke Nukem. I mean, Duke
Nukem can go in that parody direction though, because Duke Nukem is very cheese.
Yeah,
and you could do almost anything with Duke Nukem. Like
if he does kick ass and chew bubble gum, and I'm all out of gum.
Well, if he does work with the developer, because he said he was going to visit him or whatnot, the owner of the studio. Like if he does work with them, then I think there's could be some good coming out of it. But I don't have faith in it. I'm sorry.
The only way that this could like a viral marketing campaign would be to like release an official Duke Nukem soundboard. You remember that?
Yeah. Oh,
So you
that
could
was
prank
awesome.
call your friends with an app. Balls of steel, you know?
Yeah.
That would be a viral thing that would go around, people having Duke Nukem saying things, or like an AI Duke Nukem voice, but who knows? Adi Shankar's got crazy ideas about everything underneath the sun, and he won't be getting hold of Akira from Otomo. I'm so sorry. I get my Japanese Akiras mixed up. This is the Akira anime, not the fantastic creator of Dragon Ball. Okay? And Taika Waititi won't be getting his hands on it either. So that's good news. Now, for those of you who are creative types out there and for some reason have a penchant for fantasy, which is, in my opinion, entirely burned out genre, but there is a writing contest from the great Kadokawa. Now, Mr. Erdigans, can you help me? Is this the Sony-owned end of Kadokawa, or is this still the not Sony?
I don't think this is the Sony owned, because this is the light novel publisher branch.
Right. Okay.
So
this
yeah.
This has somehow escaped Sony's grasp so far. So here we have it. My Anime List and Honeyfeed are putting together a light novel contest to have your
global light novel contest.
Excuse me, global, yes.
Yeah.
And so to basically to summarize this, it is a light novel. They want, as I understand it, it's weekly installments. Yes. And again, like you'll be judged on that, as it explains right here. Judges have a voting period to judge your thing, and you'll find out in February if you've won or not. And it is strictly for fantasy, unfortunately. And
fantasy isekai, sadly. And
right.
and it has to be written in English. It's not like and Sayra and I were talking about this. I talked about this on my stream. That's kind of like Manga Plus Creators, but it's a little bit stricter. Like on Manga Plus Creators, you could do it in Spanish or English. This one, it's strictly English.
So here's how it works. You guys are going to create this light novel stuff. Now, if you're not familiar, a light novel has some illustrations in it, but it is not a manga, nor is it strictly a prose novel in that it has no pictures. These pictures are not strictly limited to being chapter, title pages. Rather, they are, sometimes they feature manga-like pages, and sometimes they are just simply very well done illustrations that decorate a page as you're reading down through the text. So again, a light novel takes many different forms. You do your best to try and research what the current popular version is in Japan. I believe this would be best to do. So we do have the grand prize list, though, if you're interested. Here, it's $5,000 to win, and your novel will be scheduled for publication by Kadokawa in Japan as a light novel, subject to Kadokawa's final approval. So,
and also, I do want to mention this: Kadokawa is like the biggest light novel publisher out in Japan, because they publish the biggest stuff like ReZero, Rising of the Shield Hero, everything. They publish the biggest titles out there. So, like, this is for real.
Sure. They do want to make note that, again, the corporation has the ability to say no at the very final end of all this after you've even been declared the winner. Just so you understand that while everything might be sunny and hunky-dory for the judges in the contest, there might be a hiccup with the corporation that still prevents your stuff from going into publication. So that's a note that they make right here, just so you know. Now, the contest winner's prize, so again, this is second place, it would assume to be. So there's 2 winners or 3 if no grand prize is selected. So they're prepared to admit that this is not going to render a single winner. They might end up having several winners, and they've decided to spread that out over a contest winners prize category. So you might be offered publication of your novel in Japanese by Kadokawa in Japan as a light novel. So again, you get $3,000 for the effort if you're chosen for this, and they maybe will give you a chance. So it doesn't seem terrible, but again, if you want to be published in Japan, this is another opportunity to get that done if you would rather not create a full-length manga. And as you know, most anime is born out of either like light novels, for instance, I believe Overlord That's one of them. That's a light novel.
Overlord, ReZero, Rising of the Shield Hero,
Sure.
reincarnated as a slime. Technically, Solo Leveling started off as a light novel before it became a manga as
see.
well.
So that's why they went with this format for the isekai call. Okay.
Yeah, because a lot of the greatest isekais started off as light novels. Yeah, before they got, and hell, ReZero has manga adaptations. Same with Reincarnated as a Slime has a manga adaptation, and the manga adaptation of Slime sells really, really well in Japan. Like it debuts every time it comes out, a new volume comes out. It's like usually #1 or #2 when it debuts in Japan. So yeah, Rising of the Shield Heroes manga adaptation is really, really good. I love it. The art is fabulous in it. I've been covering both of those series for a really long time. It's really good. Oh yeah, and the other one I just remembered is Goblin Slayer. Goblin Slayer started off as a light novel as well, and now it has a manga adaptation.
Well, and again,
multiple manga spin-offs.
As you know, with how Japan selects anime, you have Dungeon Meshi that existed for quite a long time out there before being picked up as an anime. And again, this stands a chance of having the same effort, same effect rather. So if you'd like to give this a shot, we'll put a link to the contest right here in the chat and in the description when the stream is over, so that way you guys can pick that up.
Yep, and this whole thing has the prompt and everything, and it is, as I said, it is very much like Manga Plus creators, where you do have some creative freedom, but as I said, you do have like a stricter prompt compared to Manga Plus creators, and you do have like a word minimum and maximum, whereas Manga Plus creators, you could just do whatever. And you are required to interact with the community, and which is kind of great in a way because you get to build up your audience, which is what's good with Manga Plus creators as well. And it's giving you all what's great about this too is it's giving you the tools that you need to create your light novel, which is something that a lot of platforms don't offer.
Right. Well, and again, I mean, you guys have to make that decision if you want to get involved with this or not. I'll tell you that it's not just so easily clear cut a lot of the time, and there are things that they definitely want to change because Western sensibilities are very much different than Eastern sensibilities. So again, bear it in mind, but it is worth a shot. Who knows? You might be that one contestant out there that manages to slam dunk it so hard they have to give what you've created a shot. Now, I don't know how you do that. Again, I just brought up a basketball reference. That'd probably be a fun isekai twist, is that you end up in a fantasy world where basketball is the main way that people solve their conflicts. You have fantasy-based basketball. There you go. You got to do like a World of Warcraft thing where like it's the Alliance versus the Horde and they're playing like a Space Jam game. Yeah. Again, like it could work. It could work. There you go. It's a twist. It's a twist.
But just say something that's really nice, and I will give them credit for this, is they said that you could use AI art for if you don't want to if you can't draw or you can't find someone to collab with for illustrations, is you can use AI art. You just have to make sure you credit it as AI.
That is a big difference. That is a big difference. So again, I don't know if that'll work against you, but it'll definitely help cross the threshold of being able to accomplish this inside of the time frame they want it done. So the link is in the chat, and also it'll be in the description when the stream is over. If you want to check it out in the replay, make sure that you get a look at it before the contest is over. We do want to bring up, though, that the Demon Slayer Infinity Castle trailer has landed, and there are a few differences between the two. Ms. Dertigan sent me a link to Visual Sid here, who has comparisons.
Yeah, Visual Sid is the one that always does the comparisons between the anime and the manga. So the first part is titled Akaza's Return. So obviously it's gonna, from that premise alone, or the title alone, the movie's probably gonna be more so focused on Akaza's fight against Tanjiro and Gyu. And I'm not mad at that because that fight is is so good. And even though I'm excited for the Doma and Shinobu fight because I love Doma, but that fight, like the ending of the, if you've read Demon Slayer, you know the end of the Akaza fight is extremely emotional. And the art animation here looks so good. So I can't wait to see how they execute it. I am concerned because it's going to be so focused on like the Akaza fight. The Zenitsu fight, I don't think I'm worried about like how if I'm not worried if they're going to cut content from the Zenitsu fight or not. It's just that I'm worried about the Doma and Shinobu fight because the Doma fight is like in two parts because you have the Doma versus Shinobu content, and then you have the next part where you have where Inosuke comes in, and you get Inosuke's backstory because he is connected to his mom is connected to Doma, and that's why I was like I kind of wish they would have saved this for the second part, but yeah, like. I'm kind of happy that we're going to get more of the Doma Shinobu content, but yeah, this is going to be good. This Zenitsu fight, it looks fabulous. But yeah, this is the one. The Akaza and Tanjiro fight is going to be beautiful from what we're seeing.
Oh, in the eye. Okay. All right.
But yeah, it's coming to theaters September 12th. The Crunchyroll COO said they're going to go all out with the release. I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah.
Because like Mugen Train, they went all out, but that was before Funimation came in. That was the last release that Crunchyroll actually did something. Remember? Like you saw trailers for it everywhere, like on YouTube. Like they went all out, and you saw because of the marketing campaign how good it was that it like went. The numbers were great at the box office. It was beating like Western movies. So it's just like. I just can't believe Crunchyroll's going to do something like that. I just don't believe it. I don't know if they're going to have like multiple showings per day. I don't know. I really don't.
Well, I mean, you have to ask yourself, do they even remember how to advertise this stuff anymore? I don't think they do.
I don't think so.
The zeitgeist has shifted so far in marketing toward adults. I don't think they know how to advertise this to like a 14-year-old anymore. I'm sure somebody does in that whole department, but they probably aren't the ones in charge of doing the trailer cutting and promoting. So it's just one of those things that like it grasps me every now and then when you see the passion in Japan. I've been posting about this on my own X account, how Simon Bennett was convinced you couldn't do certain Power Ranger adaptations from Super Sentai due to just the context of the suits themselves and a number of them. And for this, I mean, it's the same act. Like you heard like the Crunchyroll CEO say, that guy, the
Perini.
Pepperini, yeah. He explained that he didn't want to like expand on the advertisement. Now he's saying like, we're going to wall to wall this. Everywhere you go, you're going to see Demon Slayer advertisements. Well, which is it? What are you going to do? Why not do this for all the things? Why not keep this going consistently?
Yeah, you weren't so big on theatrical releases. You were going to focus on it, and now you want to. Like that's why I'm like when it was the CCO that was saying it or something like that, and I'm just like, I don't believe you. I don't believe it. I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah. Because again, the philosophy of Crunchyroll has been like, don't tell your parents you watch anime. You know, just it's been like a very like the most mainstream secret there really is. They don't even. One of the things that shocked me is that like you don't see it at like Walmart, even of all the places.
I see it at Walmart.
Like, you do.
Yeah, you know what? How because you know how YouTube has like the product placement.
Yeah, this as seen on TV stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, so like because I've been doing it for my content, obviously, and like for Sakamoto Days, for example,
advertisements.
No, I'm not talking about Crunchyroll. I'm just talking about anime content in
general.
general.
Oh yeah, no.
Content. So like like I put in Sakamoto Days, for example. There's all this Sakamoto Days merch at Walmart that I didn't realize they had. They have like sweatshirts, they have shirts, they have same with Danny Dan. They have like manga shirts. They have I knew they were having manga volumes, but I didn't realize they were having like all this apparel. They have figures. I know they have figures there, but like I just didn't know how much anime and manga Walmart was actually carrying.
Yeah.
It's so wild to me because like 10 years ago I knew they had shirts there, but not like this. It's insane. I would have never ever thought that Walmart would have this many like this variety. There we go. This variety of anime and let alone manga shirts. Like, it's crazy.
Well, again, I mean, you know, the Asian invasion was just getting started when we were coming up. I mean, now it's like an institution. It's been around, you know, for as long as, you know, Goku for these guys. They haven't known a time before that. They've been, let's see, if they're the Zoomers were born in 2006 when their generation is officially supposed to start. So those kids have never existed in a time before Toonami came and went. But you know, and that's why Walmart's buying into all this stuff. And it's a good time too, anyway, because it looks like there's going to be more anime milestones as we go forward. We have the love speech from the anime 100 Girlfriends I Really, Really, Really Love has achieved the Guinness World Record for the longest line of Japanese anime with a whopping 7,453 characters. Not individual anime characters, just like letters.
Yeah, the words. Yeah.
And so this is a real Guinness Book of World Records award for the longest line in anime history.
Yeah. Yeah, freaking Grok translated it wrong. It's supposed to be 100 girlfriends who really, 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 really love you. But yeah,
sorry.
Grok is getting used to it, I guess. I hate that Google Translate is gone and fucking Twitter is just forcing Grok on me. I really hate it. But
Grok,
yeah,
not guac. That's when you go to Chipotle.
Yeah.
They force guac on you there.
But the speech is from season 2 of 100 Girlfriends, and it's when Tanjiro is making like this long love declaration for all his girlfriends, and I knew it was gonna get a record or something. Like, if you see it in the manga, it takes up like an entire like double spread. It is crazy.
Wow. Yeah, Kenneth, that's exactly what I thought. I didn't know there was a Guinness World Record for that, and I guess that should be a Guinness World Record in and of itself, right? But, you know, leave it to the Japanese. But that's, that again, like, congratulations. That's a very important milestone. I look forward to the stranger who decides to one-up this and come up with a 7,500
It might happen. Well, when Kindergarten Wars gets adapted, I think there's like a line of dialogue from what's his name? From Luke that might rival that. That's the only one I could think of off the top of my head. And it's about shoujo manga. Guys, love for shoujo manga. That's what it is. Yeah, I think that's the only one I could think of off the top of my head that might even come close.
So there is a Bet Season 2, believe it or not. We have Bet Season 2. Netflix renewal has been confirmed, so congratulations to those folks.
It defied the odds, because if you look at the numbers, it should have not gotten renewed. Because what's on Netflix was just like, they were shocked. They were like, dude, this is wild, because a show that got canceled had higher numbers than Bet, and it's just really like, I know they said that there's the possibility that they had like the 2-season contract and whatnot, but when I saw that, I was just like, but so does Cowboy Bebop probably had something similar, and it got axed right away. It got axed, so I don't know. I don't believe that. There's just something else going on.
It's another situation where Netflix likes it, you know, and it might just press all the right buttons for what they're trying to look for right now, and they have hopes for it in like the aftermarket, I guess you might call it. So who knows? This might be a big deal in Korea, and we're just not getting those numbers because that's in Korea, you know? I don't know. But again, I mean, Netflix always has prioritized these bizarre adaptations. You remember how big Death Note was for a while on the platform? You couldn't go anywhere without being told to watch Death Note on Netflix. So it's another situation where they want it to work, and they'll make it work whether you want it to work or not.
Yeah, and this is like based on what I read, this is not Kakegurui at all. The creator even admitted that this is not even supposed to be a live action adaptation of Kakegurui. This is supposed to be an homage to it. And I'm like, dude, this is not even an homage to Kakegurui. This is completely different. Like the only thing that is relevant to Kakegurui is like the premise and what was it? And like they shoehorned the title of Kakegurui into this by calling the student council the Kakegurui Club, which is fucking stupid.
Oh.
But yeah,
How
they kept
creative.
they kept the house pets in there, and it's like, dude, you race swapped almost the entire cast and gender swapped in some regards. And then like Yumiko, the character that they didn't race swap, that is like her entire character is completely different than the manga. Like her they said that you know that she was orphaned. Well, she is technically orphaned, but she that her mom raised her to be like this gambling champ. I'm like, no, that is not true. Her mom died when she was a baby, and it was her aunt that raised her. And I'm gonna have to spoil just a little bit here, but you should be up to date with the manga.
I'm sure people are gonna be heartbroken. I'm sure.
But it's why Yumiko is so good is the Jabamis are cursed, and Yumiko inherited the family curse that's like passed down via the women, and yeah, like they're good at gambling. But like they get like this high off off of gambling, and it gets them into danger, and that's kind of what led to her aunt ultimately putting the hit on her parents. So yeah, so her parents are dead. Her sister is essential. Like I want to say I can't say vegetative state because she's like still moving and shit. She's like somewhat like a comatose state, if that makes sense.
Oh, good.
Like she's awake, like physically awake, but like her mind is like completely broken. There we go. That's so
that
yeah.
sounds incredibly pleasant.
Yeah, the story's fucked up, but like they're saying that like her mom that her mom taught her to gamble, and like that there's all this Bitcoin shit. And I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? There's no blockchain. There's none of this crap that you're talking about in Kakegurui. And like for Karara and Marika, they're twins in the manga. They're not twins in this. They're not even related from what I understood. And I'm just like, dude, that's kind of an important thing because Marika, her mask, the reason why she wears a mask is because she's not even a person in the series, because Karara was chosen to be like the Momobami family head, and because of that, Marika's just supposed to be like her other, if that makes sense. And the other thing is that the Momobamis, aka Karari's family, are like the prestigious gambling family head and whatnot. They're like running the show, and the Jabamis are technically related to them too. They are the gambling business, the gambling business portion of the the Momobami. So it's like you're not having anybody related, which is kind of a problem. So like I just look at all this and I'm like, dude, this is wild. Then you have you have oh my god, Michael, who's like who is he? The race swap character of Suzui. You're having his like parent, I think that's it. Yeah, you're having his parents like brought into all this and saying that his father murdered Yumiko's parents. I'm like, Suzui's parents have nothing to do with this. Suzui is not even that big of a character in the series. He doesn't question Yumiko. Well, he questions Yumiko to an extent, but he trusts her. He just goes with it. I'm just like, I'm reading this and I'm like, dude, this has nothing to do with Kakegurui. And that was before I read that statement from the showrunner. And then I read the statement from the showrunner. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. That this is nothing to do with Kakegurui at all. But I don't think this is a homage either. I think this is more of like a disdain for the series than
fan fiction.
Else. I don't think it's fan fiction. I think it's just like it's ultimately a disdain that they hate the series. Kind of like what we see with Death Note and with like Dragon Ball Evolution. It's like an ultimate like disdain. I don't think they like it. They don't like it at all. I don't think they like the series. I don't think they even read the series. I think they just read like the Wikipedia or something for this series.
Well, we know that's all the Marvel writers were allowed to have, but we do have some good news about good things surviving after they're canceled. If you don't know, Tiny Chef, it's a cute little stop motion animation show that was on Nickelodeon for a while. It was an independent product before that, where the Tiny Chef just produces tiny meals using tiny utensils. And so it's very cute, it's very tiny, and that sort of thing. Well, Nickelodeon decided to say, you're canceled, pulled the rug out from underneath the Tiny Chef, and now they've successfully raised $100,000 and more to keep the show from ending. And this isn't going to be paid to Nickelodeon. It'll send them back to their independent production before they were picked up by Nickelodeon. And apparently, this little guy has won quite a few hearts that didn't even know that the Tiny Chef existed before the Tiny Chef was canceled.
I wish we could get that for more Nickelodeon shows. That would be nice.
I don't know if there's too many of them that can come back. Like, you know, we need
Like I'm talking about the classic ones that that Nickelodeon is screwed over. Like I think it's too late now. Like My Life as a Teenage Robot that got completely screwed over by Nickelodeon, for example.
I think that would probably be quite a few of them. But there again, I mean, like, how much more of Jenny's story was there to tell?
There was a lot. They barely had any episodes.
I didn't it have like 3 seasons?
I don't think so.
You have to let us know down in the comments in the chat. Do you remember how many seasons that My Life as a Teenage Robot had on Nickelodeon?
I don't think it had that many episodes. Danny Phantom had plenty.
Now
it just didn't end very well.
Yeah, well, what a surprise, right? Not too many of Butch Hartman's stuff is ever allowed to end, kind of like the
Yeah, it
Fairly
had
Odd
3
Parents.
seasons. You're right. It had 3 seasons, but it just didn't have. It didn't It didn't feel as complete as like say like Danny Phantom, which felt like it ran its course, if that makes sense. But my Life as a Teenage Robot didn't have that feel, where it felt like there was more that needed to be told with My Life as a Teenage Robot. Like other shows like As Told by Ginger, that felt like it ran its course and you had like a good ending for As Told by Ginger. Right, kitties? But like Rocket Power, I think is another one that ended prematurely too, which is sad because Rocket Power was really good too.
I just don't know if there was like an ending in mind. Like, I don't know how you end Rocket Power. It was kind of like how do you end Phineas and Ferb, and that's coming back, you know?
Well, Phineas and Ferb, like I saw the first episode of the new season, and I thought it was good.
Again, I don't think they're like bad. It just how do you end it? You know, they're kids and they're on a summer break, and well, they either have to go back to school.
Well, they
or
had a good ending.
Eddie, you know?
Well, they did kind of have a good ending. It was when Isabella was going to college. Remember?
Yeah, again, it was like a fast forward situation, and it ended, but now we're back at it again, and it's one of those things. It's just my personal gripe about that stuff. Like I don't know how you end
Gravity.
that stuff.
Like for another good example, a good example of another good ending from what I remember is Gravity Falls had a really decent ending for a kids show. Like that show ran its course.
Well, again, it falls in line with these other Nickelodeon shows that they keep going forever.
On
and
Disney,
the ones they end too soon.
Yeah, that's Disney for Gravity Falls and Phineas and Ferb.
Oh, right, Disney XD was where those Toon Disney or something like that. That's where those showed up. But I'm sorry, I'm just trying to find the next article here. I'm just stumbling through it. The my bookmarks are all disorganized because I rapidly bookmark things. So anyway, before I have to stall anymore and look any more stupid, I have we did play this intro for a lot of people here. Now it went around from Smash JT suggesting that this was a device that gentlemen might use for an evening. And unfortunately, that's not the case. And for those of you looking to have a barrel fap, if you will, it is a pillow. It is hand sized, and that's the joke. That's the joke. So now you understand why that song's in the intro. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you can just zoom back to where you see Donkey Kong looking disappointedly at that barrel there on the left. All right. So just so you know, it's a pillow. It's a pillow. It's a pillow.
It's not a
anything
pet.
else. It's not anything else. It's not anything else. So
I'm sorry, I had to make the pillow pet joke. You know it.
right, sure. That was a thing for a minute. And we have the Crunchyroll terrible subtitles, half-assed again.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. So this is for the one of the latest anime that just dropped. Oh God, I need to have it in front of me because it will drive me crazy. It's called Lord of Mysteries. And Lord of Mysteries is based on a light novel. And I saw Crunchyroll trending yesterday, and it's because, of course, they did not put the localizers did not put the names of the characters in where they were supposed to, which is very frustrating. And that something I've been noticing it more so in dubs than anything else, where they're just like not putting like the subtitles or whatnot for the episode name, so you don't even know what the episode is called, for example. But yeah, it's crazy. The Lord of Mystery fans have been so furious. Like, as this person said, Crunchyroll strikes again with half-assed subtitles, not translating pathway, okay, whatever, but they didn't even translate the character names on screen. And imagine paying for this shit, man. And something else that people pointed out is that in Italian, the character names are translated on the screen. And apparently, this is happening in the Spanish from Spain, it's bad too, but the ones in Latin America are fine. So it's not just the English version, which, you know, it's usually the case, but I guess the ones in Spain are getting bad too, which I think is very, very odd.
So that would mean the Portuguese ones are not messed up?
Yeah, it would mean like the Latin America, so it'd be the Spanish in Latin America, and also Portuguese is Brazilian. So there's a difference.
Okay, I guess. Spanish is different in Spain than it is in
Latin America, yeah.
Other places. Oh well. Speaking of differences out there, we do have a difference of opinion. A lot of people are a little disappointed to find out that Michael Bay will be returning to the Transformers franchise on the silver screen anyway. Maybe more, who knows? But we have to ask ourselves who's really to blame for this. The reality is that Transformers 1 did not perform well in movie theaters for what it was supposed to perform. Now, again, we can blame that on whatever we like. There's tons of things to sit down and say this is what broke the camel's back, but it could be a combination of all of them. Now, the reality is, though, is that Transformers 1 proved that Michael Bay is the one that attracts people seemingly universally with his crazy polygon monsters. So get used to those can't tell the head from the ass Transformers we used to see in the Bayverse, because they're coming back, baby. Maybe he's learned his lesson and embraced the G1 look that we saw in Transformers Rise of the Beast, but I doubt it. I doubt it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, people are sick of Michael Bay, I guess.
And that's just the reality that people are kind of like settling into, is that Michael Bay is apparently the only guy that can deliver Transformers to an audience in live action. I mean, at this point, like, what would they be out to go to Kojima? You know, what would they be out? Would it really suck if he said no? You know, would it be that painful if Kojima was like, I don't think I could help? You know, because he sounds like that, probably. So, you know, again, like, go to Kojima. You could go to the guy that made Godzilla 1-1. That guy, when he's done with the other one, you may have him make a Transformers movie. Nope. No, we're going to go back and get Michael Bay. But for this, I guess, now that we're headed into like this, you know, America's great kind of attitude, right? We want to make America great again. Well, let's bring back old Optimus and Bumblebee that pees on people from the Bayverse. Why not? Might as well. There's the Camaro's out of production, so Bumblebee will have to come up with a new disguise, but it's not like there aren't yellow cars around to turn into.
Well, there's vintage. Sure. Well, you can have Bumblebee be a vintage car. Why not?
I guess. I mean, that's what they did in what is that? Extinction. He was like a '72 Camaro. So.
Well, yeah, and it's Extinction, so why not?
Well, no, that was Extinction. That was the last one. That
I know that's I was saying it worked with the title because it's Extinction and Vintage.
Like I said, I would hope they go back to like the G1 thing where they're more boxy. That's the polygonal mess is fun on CGI, but when it comes to like trying to interact with any part of that media, it's very difficult to like make out the characters who are separate from one another if like their name isn't on screen. So it's again, Transformers 1 took a big risk with the attitude it wanted to do with the movie. It didn't lean into the classic Optimus versus Megatron until the last 10 minutes. And that's okay, because the story was about how it got to that point. So that's fine. But we just didn't sell a lot of audiences to come in and sit down and watch a Transformers movie that wasn't about the war. And it wasn't. It wasn't about the war. It was about how the war got started, but it wasn't about the war. And apparently people just really want to see giant robots kill each other forever in space or on Earth mainly, with like sweaty Mark Wahlberg running around. That's the most important part, is sweaty Mark Wahlberg running around. He's very scared when he's sweaty and running around. That's a beagle to the success of these movies, is some greased up character that has no reason to be around these giant robots that are fighting each other, but somehow he's found his way through. Gotta love it. See, that's what I'm really concerned about this, Nerdigans, is that like so much of Western media and media around the world really is leaned into the adults so hard. I'm not really sure we're gonna get a Transformers movie that isn't gonna be like a little too serious at times.
Yeah, well, it's kind of interesting because you kind of have a problem in manga to anime adaptations right now, where they're trying to, or even comedy anime right now, like say Witch Watch, they're sucking the comedy that's in the manga out of it. Heck, even in Vigilante, Boku no Hero Academia Legals, they got rid of, like, even though it's in a late night slot, mind you, they got rid of all the crude and lewd comedy from it, which I just thought was the weirdest thing. It's like, why be in a late night slot and not fully use it to its advantage? It happened with Bleach too. They cut out like all of Kubo's comedy, lewd comedy. I didn't.
Well, and that happened with Ranger Reject too.
Yeah, Ranger Reject, all the comedy's gone. Like, it's like, why? Like, that's the soul of the series, is the comedy. You can't have it be so serious. A Sailor Moon Crystal, it happened there too. All the comedy's gone. And it's like, dude, you need to have that lightheartedness to balance out that darkness.
They're afraid of it because, again, they forget that a lot of this media is meant for children, and children need levity. They can't have like a constant spoon feeding of, oh no, everybody you know is dead in the billion-year Cybertron war. It's not good for kids to be spoon-fed robot PTSD. It's not good for them.
They're saying that, live action is supposed to be more for adults and all that. But even then, it's like, dude, no, you gotta have some lightheartedness to.
If you went to any of those Transformers movies, that was not for adults. Yes, there was certainly adult context.
I'm saying the mindset. I'm saying the mindset.
You're right. Though. You're right that the mindset is there, but what I wanted to prove is that a lot of people took their kids to these things. I remember it. There were babies during the Transformers movie. They were screaming their heads off when that thing went through the bus sideways. That again, bad parenting, but again, it's the Transformers. People grew up with them and they expect, it's Optimus and the Autobots defeating Megatron and the Decepticons and their scheme to steal Energon. And then in the first 10 minutes, Megatron rips Jazz in half. It's like, oh shit. I shouldn't have brought my kid to this. The one thing that Michael Bay did is he wiped his ass with Obama. That was funny. That was funny. It was like an off-screen diss to Obama, just a real quick one, like 3 seconds worth of like, Obama won't help the Autobots. Oh, darn him helping the Decepticons, But this one set out and they were like, let's do a fully animated but mostly realistic looking Transformers movie. And they thought that would kind of bridge the gap between fans like in the adult end of this that wanted to have like that look of G1, that simplistic boxy robot look that they had in the original 80s cartoon, mixed with this modern kind of interpretation with the eyes and Optimus and Orion at this time, but Optimus's relationship. And so Megatron and Optimus's relationship. And so again, really nice story. They did pretty well with it in its execution, certainly toward the end there, where again, like Megatron's thing is to rip people in half. It's weird that that's happened twice in Transformers movies. It's really weird. He's ripping dudes in half. That's Megatron's thing. He's rips dudes in half. But you'd think it'd be the giant cannon. No, he rips people in half. Anyway, this movie was fun, but it proved that Michael Bay has like the inside track on making sure that the young and old turn out to see Megan Fox's midriff all greased up. So
I mean,
we gotta have
she's
that.
nice to look at.
Was. But that again, like we're in that age of like he's gonna do that again. He's gonna find some hot to trot lady to get all greased up and put her in the sunset with a bunch of helicopters in the sunset. Remember that? It's not a Michael Bay movie unless there's black helicopters in the sunset. No, people are tired of it. Remember, people were tired of the Bayverse, and they got something different, and now we're going back to the Bayverse. So it is
people, like the thing that's interesting though, because we're talking about toning down stuff, and also like with there's also the queer themes, and we kind of talked about this before we went live with the Elio stuff. I was looking at, and I posted the link to the article in here, and I'm looking at the Hollywood Reporter article, and it's just like, dude, these people are nuts. They are nuts. But something in here that really caught my eye, you can look at it at the beginning of this article we'll go into in a second, but they were saying here about, in regards to Hopper too, is that they had to tone down the themes of environmentalism. And they also said in the that a movie in early development got a startling note, and that director was told, you can't have divorce in this movie, which is so wild. Like, why? Like, why is it not okay to have divorce in a movie? Like, that's something that kids go through. I mean, my parents got divorced when I was 11. I mean, it's something that's really important to show, because kids that go through that kind of like seeing someone else go through it. It's just a serious topic. You can't hide from it. You can't run from it.
Well, and again, the studio may not have that as a blanket policy for every production, but that production in particular, they did not want that represented and associated with that. Again, they have their kooky wooky reasoning. They ruined Madam Web, according to Dakota Fanning and the other people that were involved with that. And again, it's not the first time we've heard of studio meddling causing problems with production, because the studio heads get squirmy wormy over certain details. So it's just one of those things. I can't open up that Hollywood Reporter article, by the way. I have ad blocker, and it doesn't.
Oh, you do? Oh, just refreshing, and it should. I had that problem too, and I just refreshed it, and it was fine.
Oh, okay. What did it?
Did it work?
No.
Didn't. All right. Let me do it here.
Oh, okay. I cleared the cookies. So there we go.
Okay.
So what's this about now? I don't know.
So this is about. So Elio, like they were talking about here about how and Elio was supposed to be gay, essentially, and that a lot of the queer themes of Elio were taken out. And what they said here, where was it here? I thought it was actually a key piece of it. About was his identity. It said suddenly you remove this key piece, this big key piece, which is all about identity, and Elio just becomes about totally nothing. And that Elio, the Elio that's in theaters right now is far worse than Adrian's best version of the original, which I guess it's supposed to be Elio being gay. Let's see. The character Elio was so cute and blah blah blah. Where is that? Where is the other thing that it was said here?
Do you remember when we were watching movies about a toaster and his like appliance friends that just went on an adventure and it was crazy?
Oh, here it is.
And traumatizing. You remember that? That was fun.
Yeah. Here it is. The changes to Elio were clear to one former Pixar artist who worked on the film and asked to remain anonymous. It was pretty clear that through the production of the first version of the film, that studio leaders were constantly standing down these moments in the film that alluded to Elio's sexuality of being queer. Like, come on, people are so done with this. I'm so over it. Like, people like don't care about this crap anymore. People don't want this crap in like kids media. Like, there's a way to do like queer stories in media
really
without
shouldn't
it
be the
just being,
center of the movie.
without it being the center of the story. Like, yeah, there's a way to do it without it being like the entire story, right?
I
You can have
understand
a
like they're
character being queer.
trying to work out of like, oh, the prince and princess mentality, and that I understand like the core of it, but like it's and again, like it's one of those things we have to ask yourself, like, what are we trying to celebrate? What are we trying to? Where's the wall that we're trying to put up here to set this aside from other things? And why are we putting up that wall? And it, again, that's thank God it's catastrophic that the whole thing fell apart here, and that it's not the original vision, because it gives everybody involved the ability to step back and say, maybe we flew too close to the sun with this. Maybe we had the best of intentions, but we went way overboard because the atmosphere at the time, kind of like what happened with Concord, where everybody was so toxically positive to everybody that they got a really, really bizarre idea about how to execute this, and the studio was shocked by that. And of course, in the process of trying to rapidly fix this in order to get it out to the public, it did not come through with anything tangible to a worthwhile story. So once again, hopefully it'll teach these people that maybe it's best to go half the distance you'd like to. Maybe. But again, it's a very murky topic to get into.
Well, the other thing it says here too, but did the decisions to downplay Elio's queer themes actually come from the parent company? And insiders aren't so sure. And a lot of people like to blame Disney, but the call is coming from inside the house. So Pixar, so from what it's saying here, it sounds like Pixar is trying to take back control of all the fuckery, which I'm glad to see. A lot of it is obeying in advance behavior coming from the higher execs at Pixar, which I think is a good thing. I think it's great. But like the other thing is, though, when they're saying that someone at Pixar is saying you can't have divorce in this movie, like that's bizarre, because Pixar, that doesn't sound like something someone at Pixar would say, because Pixar usually touches upon serious issues like that. But like the other stuff though, about like trying to like be like, no, you can't do this queer identity crap. This has got to go. We can't do this crap no more. Like that to me, it sounds like something like classic Pixar would do, because classic Pixar, like if you remember old school Pixar, and I've actually been to Pixar Studios before. I went there like several years ago. Pixar was never really about like sexuality like that. There's identity, yeah, but not like sexuality identity. It's about it's more so about finding yourself as a person than anything else, right?
But again, like there's a lot of themes with those earlier ones that just aren't present in the new ones due to the corporate desire to water things down into the most marketable form it'll take. So when we're talking about this old Pixar thing, it's important that we, understand that this was before the time when they had every kind of think tank possible working to smooth out every rough edge. As Sakura Mita points out here, is there so adult fatigue? And it's, yes, of course it is adult fatigue. I talk about this a lot again on my own private X account, that again, so much of the media is tilted toward adult and adult experience and adult interpretation that the majesty and wonder of things is gone. It all has to have like a level of making sense. It all has to be able to apply to real life. It has to be a one-to-one experience. And that's just sort of, it steals away what got everybody into these things that are these giant franchises. He-Man makes no damn sense. He goes around in a tank that throws the wheel over the top of the axle. It makes no sense whatsoever. He parties hardy with a guy whose face spins around. He parties hardy with a guy whose neck gets... That's a superpower, by the way. Mecha neck, his neck just gets longer.
Yeah.
That's
I was just thinking about this too, is that I feel like Pixar, by doing a lot of this, Pixar is trying to get back on track to being more about story than being about like checking a box by making
Now,
this move.
we do have a major announcement, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, Jacob's here.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Nerdigans are Jewish. I think we knew that already, but that's stuff for
We have to be careful about that. There may be Palestinians waning in the internet connection.
Yeah, Palestinians. They may be out there somewhere.
Somewhere.
Jacob, I'm curious what you think about this, about how Pixar, according to this article, that Pixar heads are stepping in and saying that no, you can't have like a queer story up in this movie anymore, or like. According to this one person, they're saying divorce.
This should have been done several years ago when we saw the videos of the women saying that I have a not so gay agenda and they all work for Pixar, and we knew this like 3 years ago. Probably should have happened then. I think they've now realized that Pixar is a family-friendly brand that makes entertainment for children, and there's a lot of people who seem really hell-bent on gaying up the Pixar, and it's getting to the point where we're losing 9 figures on every film that we release. So maybe we should stop this, or else we're gonna go into bankruptcy, baby. Yeah.
It isn't a bankruptcy. But again, I mean, it's another symptom.
Whack it till the wheels fall off.
It's another symptom of Hollywood kind of being that big ship that's difficult to turn around. Like we were discussing before you came in. What happened here is that they decided to make a movie that had some central themes to this character's sexuality. Of course, as you could see, this is a young man. This is, I wouldn't say prepubescent, but he's in the early throes of discovering himself. And so that's the story here. As part of his self-discovery is discovering that he is of a divergent sexuality. And so you have now like Pixar stepping in.
That's where I want to go to a film. I want to see an animated film about the sexuality of let's just call it what it is, children.
Yeah, well, again, like, yeah, the guy that runs Pixar, whoever, like, well, you know, guys, there's this thing called flying too close to the sun, and it might, this might be one of those. So we're just gonna gut the whole thing here and put out what we've got. And so you've got the people explaining that this is falling short of the original vision because of how it was peeled away. And again,
this was literally like, let me step into my office for a second, and you carry on with a conversation, and midway through you just said, they did what? You just hear that like from the background.
And that was like in the deepest parts of Spencer's eardrum. So welcome to the show, dude.
What's going on? What are we talking about?
First of all, before we even acknowledge Spencer, let's be very clear here. Is anyone going to acknowledge my so-called new set that I'm working with here?
No.
I finally finished the new move. No, I finally finished the move.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, that is a different setup.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, well, this is my, it's kind of a bookcase because the top shelf is like nothing but Bibles, but then there's like DVDs on this section, and then there's like television DVDs there, then there's like the Blu-rays and like the PlayStation stuff that's all the way down there. I'm not grabbing that.
You got the divorced dad setup going on. Right now. One bookshelf, everything you own.
Yep. Because you know what? When we leave the house, we're leaving with one box, damn it, because that's all we need.
One box in the car. It's mine.
That's why when you get those big U-Hauls, the guy's only responsible for like 2 boxes in the whole damn truck. Everything else belongs to the woman.
So, if you guys don't know or haven't heard the great, fantastic, awesome news, Brian Walker has risen. That's right.
Yeah, digital necromancy, baby. We're so back.
Yeah, more dead people.
I don't like it. I like a lot of people. If you look at the comments, they're feeling a type of way about this. They're not happy about that.
It's almost as if there's something tugging away at your soul that's telling you this is not right and this is going to lead to utter disaster.
Like this is so. So what? How long has it been since we saw this? Like was it Star Wars? I like genuinely. I remember there was that period after the hologram where we were all like,
was it Rogue One or was it before that?
It was Tron. It was Tron Legacy when Jeff Bridges did
that was before Rogue One. That was way before Rogue One. So like Rogue One's got to be it. Yeah, with Carrie Fisher and then like Grand Moff. Nobody really liked that then. And even like to this day, everybody goes, "Oh yeah, that looked really, really, really bad." Yeah. And now they're gonna do it again with Paul Walker. Like, what is?
I mean, they've like they've been doing this. If we're being honest with ourselves, they've been doing this for like 5 to 10 years at least now. Like even in what was it, the last Aliens movie that came out, they brought one of those characters back from the dead too.
That's
So
right,
I mean,
they did. Yeah,
so
that's right.
they've been doing this subtly for a while. I think they feel like they're in a position where okay, we've done this enough, or we haven't gotten too big of a blowback from it that we're just gonna keep ramping things up to see how it really comes. And now it's like, yeah, let's just bring Paul Walker back from the dead because all the other characters in this series who are supposed to be dead are still alive. So why should Paul Walker stay away? Let's resurrect him from the dead too, right? And then. We all know where this is going. We're just going to be, like I said, you're going to live in a dystopian future not too long far from now where you will go to a Tupac concert in 2030, and it's going to happen. It's going to be a full-fledged concert. He's going to be saying everyone's names, going to be making references to modern times because, hey, look, when it really comes down to it, we already have the ability to replicate people's voices using AI. All you need is just a couple of sound files. You can make anything sound like anyone saying it. With the way that, AI and, the face technology works, we can pretty much scope someone's face to a point where it looks like they're doing some really, really questionable stuff. So, I mean, what's the only logical conclusion is this. We're just going to straight up bring actors back from the dead in digital form and then have them act in our movies. And then the audience just has to essentially sit there and be like, am I morally okay with this? Like, because, I mean, it's a literal digital witchcraft. What you're doing here. Like, to be real quick here, there was a story, I'm not sure if you guys saw it, but I commented on it. It was a guy who, it was a picture of him and his mom. His mom had passed away like several years ago or whatnot.
Oh, yeah.
And it was one of those ones where it's like you take a picture.
Yeah, that was bad.
You take a picture, then it like digitally like moves or like it animates itself. And he was like, oh yeah, no, I've been doing this like for hours. It's like, you are going down a very, very dark path. Like, do not do this to yourself. Like, that is not your mom. She's not here. She's gone. It's like, if you start going into this route, you're never going to get out. So it's like,
and it's like you see that with dead loved ones. You see it with all the people who are dating AIs now. Like, it's getting really, really, really like.
That's how you get a tulpa.
Like, that is how you get a tulpa. Like, we are in the point where we are just willingly creating tulpas almost. Like Jacob, his mention of like witchcraft is actually more apt the more I think about it too, because like. Aside from the fact that, like, yes, it's a weird soulless thing that you're looking at, and what does that say for your brain if, like, the guy says, oh, I don't have any real pictures with me and my mom, but here's one I animated, and I've been doing this for hours, and now I have memories of, like, me and my mom. And it's like, that's not your mom. That's not, like, that's
not real memories.
Right. You're getting on a weird plane of, like, thought. And then think about it this way, guys. Remember, none of this AI stuff is regulated right now. If that stupid, big, beautiful bill passes, there will be no regulation for 10 years. That guy's mom, he's feeling all these like feelings right now. In 3 years, he's going to be sitting watching a Taco Bell commercial. And his mom is going to be like, yo, I love the crunchy, whatever. Mm-hmm. And what's that going to do to him? You know what I mean? It's just.
This is the problem. It's like the genie's out of the bottle already, and people are trying to like find the cap. They can put it back in. It's like it's far too late.
No, it's definitely far too late. But even in the sense that it's okay. What am I trying to say? It is too late. But then what you're seeing here with Fast and the Furious is like the more dark, like the other aspect of it, which is like, yes, it's already past the point of no return, but people are still very, very like, I don't want AI. We want AI art like gone. We don't really want this. Do it. And like Jacob kind of hit the nail on the head here, which is consider what he just said about how like, yes, we do this, every so often in Aliens, we got like a resurrection. Star Wars, Tron, all that stuff. And every time it gets pushed back and everybody goes, no, I don't like it, blah, blah, blah. But with this, now with the big advent of AI, now that they're going for Fast and the Furious specifically, because they'll do, they'll put Paul Walker in there, and Fast and the Furious appeals to the lowest common denominator. Even for those of us who like those movies, guys, like I enjoy some of them. Even I know, like I'm not going in because this is a good movie. I know this is going to be the dumbest like hit of whippets I've ever done for like 2.5 hours. And so you put the AI in there, everybody eats it up and just goes, oh, cool. It was Paul Walker. He's back. Oh man. And then that slowly like does the slippery slope of like, oh, well, we really like that. That was cool. And then because morons like that, then it just becomes like the popular refrain, which is like, it's not that bad if it's actors. It's not that bad if you're just doing politicians in parody videos. It's not that bad if it's like not, if it doesn't have a timestamp on, you know what I mean? Like it's the slow way of getting everybody to not care about it. It's not even normalizing it. It's sort of, yeah, like just throw it to the lowest common denominator, let it, you know, sparkle and wow them. And then you can kind of just go, okay, now the majorities don't care about it. Let's move on. And yeah, we've already seen like AI at work. We are rapidly approaching a point, like Jacob said, where we won't know if a video we're watching is real, and like politicians are going to be able to go, oh, that's not me, that was AI. Like I guarantee you, watch like Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, Stephen Miller, Trump, they're all going to be using that same excuse within the next 4 years. Like, watch.
Yeah, so this is what I said several weeks ago, and this is a video from like the Door Brothers, and they got like a big channel. How many? Let me just check real quick how many followers they got here. So this is about 268,000 subscribers here on YouTube, and they've been getting popular because they've been doing like music videos, but it's like all AI, right? So here you got like a bunch of like world leaders and famous celebrities looking like they're just doing outright debauchery. And what I said several weeks ago when this whole AI thing was progressing is that we're getting to a point now where, of course, you look at this and it looks really good, but you can still kind of tell that it's AI. But once they sharpen off like all of these, you know, sharpen it up just a little bit, it's going to get to a point where you can't tell the difference between what's real and what's fake anymore. And that's going to, one of two things.
Oh no, this is 100% real.
I know, but what I'm saying is like this is what they're doing.
Is way cooler in these photos than they are in real life. Like you think Trump would ever pick up a firearm and go on the front lines of anything? No, he'd shit his pants.
But it's like, but look at this. But this is what we're doing now. So look at where we're going to progress a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now.
This is Kanye right now, man. This is him right now.
Yeah, this is just actually him.
This is actually Kanye footage.
So what's going to end up happening here is exactly
Thunberg eats a hot dog through the middle.
Yeah, I was going to say that's how you eat a sandwich, right? Like all people.
But like I said, this is where it's going to progress to, because it's going to get to a point, like I said, you're going to see videos like this and you're not going to know whether it's real or not. It may look real, but it turns out it's fake. On the flip side, it may look fake, turns out that it's real. So you're going to have a rapidly future. We're talking about somewhere in the next, like, I would say maybe 1 to 3 years, if we're being honest with ourselves, where people are going to be watching videos and they're not going to be able to tell what's real and what's fake anymore. And we're fast forwarding to this point that, you know, people's essentially idea of what reality is going to be blurred to a line that they're not going to be able to take back. Like we're talking about the guy trying to bring his mother back from the dead. You got Universal Pictures trying to bring Paul Walker back from the dead, quite literally. And then you have stuff like this. It's like people's entire perception of reality is going to be damaged in a way that is going to be unrecoverable in a very short period of time. Like this is not going to end anywhere good with what we're doing right now. And I know in the context of the Fast and Furious movie, it's a very, very small window to a much bigger issue, but this is a much bigger issue we're looking at here.
I mean, Cider, what was the timeline on that video we all watched like a couple weeks ago? Wasn't it like within like a year that the AI or like the Gen 3 or whatever it was goes live, the Model 3, the Model 4? I totally forget the specifics of that.
And then that's projected 2027, which is literally less than 2 years away.
Yeah. And yeah, like it's I wish we had something more optimistic to say here, but like you know, like just be aware out there, guys. And also, I guess to loop it back to what we're saying, over under then on, now that they're doing Paul Walker, like over under on Chadwick being revived in, what is that, Doomsday or whatever. Like now I feel like that's gonna, at first, like if you'd have asked me this question last week, I would have gone, no, I don't think so. I don't know if Disney's like that, Hollywood's that dumb yet, but here we are. Like
there'll be a scene where he comes back, he's like, Wakanda forever, because those like, oh, don't worry, it's another universe, Black Panther. He's still alive over there.
So I do have to ask.
Yeah, that is what it's going to be.
Because Robin Williams, he sat down and he created this in his will. He said, you can't recreate me. You can't recreate anything, any part of me. You have existing media, have fun with it, but you can't make anything new with me after I'm dead. Now, it's kind of a prophetic thing to stick in your will. Now we're looking at it. So you have to ask yourself if maybe that arrangement was put together, right, for more than just him. So I don't remember CGI Chadwick Boseman talking to Shuri in Wakanda Forever.
No,
There's
yeah,
a
he's
lot
not
that
there.
happened in there. So again, not to say that they wouldn't do that now, right? But it may be in his contract that they can't do that, that they can't recreate him for the purposes of new scenes. They can use old footage of him, like they painted him up on a wall mural. That's not him. That's a visage of him. What I'm saying is they can't Grand Moff Tarkin him into this stuff because, like Robin Williams had in his contract, you can't abuse me posthumously. Perhaps Chadwick Boseman had that protection as well, understanding how prevalent technology was. So,
possibly, I of like, you know, the caliber of actors that I would say would probably do that, I feel like Chadwick might be up there. The dude was actually like an artist.
Yes.
Here's where I get worried, Cider, is one, I feel like maybe somewhere in this AI discussion we would have heard something leak out, but also maybe not. Disney NDAs can be very, very good. And again, this isn't like 4,000 people with this knowledge. This is probably like 20 at best. But then I also worry, Cider, that maybe we didn't hear any, like maybe Disney didn't do the Chadwick for Black Panther for Wakanda Forever because they just knew we're not there yet. Right? Like we can throw this into the AI, we can make that model, but it's still going to look like an Xbox One game. But now, so then they get to play that easy card, right? Like, no, we'll never do anything with Chadwick. Like we're going to respect him. We're not going to recast him. And then there's your little hint, right? It's like they always go, we're not going to recast him. And yet they recast everybody else all the time. So now it's like, are you guys just like doing the like lawyer Johnny Cochran thing where you're like, you're not saying it, but you're not saying it. You know what I mean? So could go anywhere at this point. I know the only other two actors I've heard of who have like confirmed no AI clauses in their everythings are Keanu and Nick Cage, which is funny, but also makes sense. I mean, Nick Cage was in Face Off. He knows what could happen.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. All right. Okay. I was like, that's a weird one.
I thought that one too when I first heard it, but I was like, no, Face Off. And then Keanu was in The Matrix. He basically wrote the book on what's going on right now.
He watched Smith literally become other people. So yeah.
Oh yeah. I didn't even think about that, Cider. Holy crud. Like we do that now kind of. Like you see it online, people can just go, oh yeah, this is me, and they throw up like an AI picture or whatever. We can all pick it out, but like,
who would do such a thing?
Boomers and like,
who would ever do such a thing? Nerdigans.
But we do have Attack of the AI going on over here with yet another media production. We have a different version of it though going on over here. We have Ironheart. Ironheart receiving a 5 from IGN. We have another 5 to talk about a little later here. Ironheart not doing too well. A lot of people just simply saying it's a show. It doesn't make me feel one way or another.
It is one of the shows of all time.
Yep, it is one of the shows that Disney has put up on its streaming service. That seems to be the takeaway from Ironheart, is it doesn't really do much of anything other than take up space.
So the 5 from IGN is actually pretty surprising. As we all know, IGN is one of the shillier places, especially when it comes to like Disney stuff.
Goose.
You shilly goose. German, IG German. But more to so like the 5 is pretty surprising, but I think the bigger discussion here, everyone, and this isn't like Cider is ignoring it or anything, but it's like this kind of just goes to show really who cares about this show. I say that because, like, yes, here's IGN, but I have heard nobody in our circles, like, even trash talking it, right? Like, it's on episode, like, 4 or 6 already.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, nobody said anything about anything. I read an interview with, like, Ryan Coogler or something, looking to see if there was any good, article bait. And I open it up and they reveal that, or they don't reveal because it's in the show, but the first thing they mention is like, I forget the actor's name, but it's the guy who played Han Solo in Solo.
Yeah,
he was revealed. Yeah, that Aldrich. What's his first
Bye,
name?
Nerdigans. Aldrich. I think
She went to the Shadow Realm.
Okay, yeah, that's what it is. I don't know why. I always want to call him Paul, and I'm like, that is wrong.
He just looks like a Paul.
He kind of does just look like a Paul. But so yeah, the first blurb on that article was Paul is in this show, and he's revealed as Obadiah Stane's son. And I was like, that seems like theoretically something everybody would talk about, especially just for the solo of it all, right? Like, when was the last time that guy was in anything? I saw that name on the
Wasn't he
article,
in that
and I was
wrestling
like,
one?
Oh, Ironclaw? Was he in that?
Was he in Ironclaw?
I know that was
which guy we're talking about?
Aldrin Elbrick or whatever.
No, he was recently in Oppenheimer, if you guys remember.
Oh, okay.
He was in Oppenheimer, but then again, so was everybody for like 5 minutes. That you want to like do that IMDb game of connecting everybody. Find your way to Oppenheimer.
The reason why I remember him, because remember we were talking about the fact that if you guys remember, this is years ago when Solo was actually coming out. Keep in mind, Solo is the only, I think, Disney movie that even the insiders kind of openly threw under the bus, because it's like, oh, it's Solo, so we don't have to protect him. But they were going as far to say that they were giving him acting lessons because he couldn't act in the role. Like, that's how bad they threw him under the bus. Then he turns around, he's in literally the Academy Award winner for Best Picture of the Year and has one of the best roles in the entire film. And it's like, I guess he learned how to act pretty well, though, or maybe you guys just didn't know what the hell you were doing.
Maybe you just didn't know what you were doing. And I choose to believe that because, guys, like, that is the darkest movie I've ever watched. You can't see anything in that movie. I know you guys didn't know what you were doing. That movie is painful to watch. But yeah, I saw nobody even tweeting like, "Oh, it's Solo." Like, crazy to see him around. Nobody said anything. Nobody said anything about like, "Oh, of course Disney is retapping an old Iron Man." Like, nothing. Nobody cares about this.
Let's start a prequel series after we killed off the main character in the other movie just a couple of films ago. Now let's start a prequel series that go back in time and tell how the story. Like, no, we've already done this. Like, no one asked for this.
Nobody asked for this. Like, I think we talked about this when we got the first trailer like a month ago, right? Like, and that wasn't even a trailer, that was a teaser. When we got that, we were all talking, and it's like, this was definitely the last holdover of that era where Disney was just like, representation, greenlight everything so that we can, make have our own Disney version, no X-Men, push the Inhumans, things like that. And this one was probably
remember the Inhumans? Remember that, right? Remember when we tried to do X-Men without the X-Men, and then we got the rights back to X-Men and didn't need the Inhumans at all?
Okay, I need to add to this. Yeah, I'm just complaining because I'm like, nobody cares about this. Like, this was left over. Even Disney feels like they don't want it.
Well, there's one thing though, Spencer.
Yeah.
Apparently, there's people that do. Maybe Disney does because of the whole thing with Rotten Tomatoes, because they had to take down the reviews for a minute there. Because there was positive review bombing.
Oh, you mean for Ironheart? Yeah. I thought you were talking about for Solo. I was like, wait, what that?
Yeah, I'm talking about for Ironheart.
The Den of Night.
Like, because there was straight up review bombing. Then there was positive review bombing, and then like the reviews were taken down on Rotten Tomatoes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, look, guys, it's trash. It's trash. And let's be honest with you. The only reason why they went up bad for this film, like unlike Echo, which got no traction whatsoever, they didn't even try to defend that movie. But it was like they didn't even try.
No.
But it's like, let's be honest. The only difference is that the main character of this one's a black woman. I guess being a Native woman is not higher on the victim card class, so you just get thrown under the bus entirely.
You're not racist anymore. You're not racist anymore.
It's like, hey, at least you get to show your Oklahoma tribe, right?
Yeah, right.
Everyone coming to bat for this one. Like, if you talked bad about it, that you were like sexist and racist, and
who cares?
But it's like this though.
Yeah, like,
but hold on, it's like this though. It's like, okay, guys, if this show was actually good, as you guys claim that it is, just give it a chance, they wouldn't be dumping it all out in a matter of 2 weeks.
Again, like what I just touched upon. That's what I was trying to hit at. I don't know if I was effective to the crowd. Like, I know you guys got me, but we got the first teaser for this show a month before it came out. That is
a show that also, let's not bury the lead here, has been shot for over a year and a half. This is a show that has been in the can for a while.
It's been in the can. It's been shuffled around a bunch.
This show has been in the can for so long. They thought that dude who was in that last Transformers movie was going to be a big star, so they put him forefront.
Right? Seriously.
That's how long this show's been in the can.
They had.
He was also in Twisters. Okay.
Oh yeah.
It was such an important show, guys. They had Eric Andre in it for 15 minutes. Very important.
I'm not against that. I like seeing Eric Andre, but it is very much like if this is what you're doing, what are we doing here?
I asked myself when I was catching that clip there when they iced him off camera. I was like, did they like?
He's the one who dies. Oh, I didn't even
off
realize
camera.
that.
Off camera.
Yep.
So it's
off
like
camera.
So wait, did they film a death scene with him, or did he get pissed off and leave the production? They're like, you're the sacrificial lamb now. Okay, it's so random. Like he's the guy.
It's either that or it's either Eric was like, I'm done with this. Like I shot my stuff. Like let me go. Or it was Disney doing their normal thing of like, oh, we have the series shot. We just got back this polling and there's been a 0.02% in uptick in like viewers in Western Oklahoma. We got to make this change. And then you just make 700 different changes and everything is cut to crap. And now they're like, oh, we had to cut him out because we really needed to put that, 15-minute flashback to learning about relearning cooking or something. I don't freaking know what that show is doing. Like that. Like that's. We had Echo Mania. Even Jacob and I were like, we'll watch Echo. That'll at least be stupid fun. This is I didn't even get that from this. There's a shot that keeps going around on Twitter right now that's like people going, oh, and they said the CGI was bad now in Marvel. What, like this is Iron Man level. And it's this shot of Riri flying in her armor, and she does the Tony thing that he does to Spider-Man in Homecoming where he he's like flying and then before the suit like stops, it opens and he keeps like the momentum of like the walking going. She does that, but everybody's going, oh, this looks so great. It's so good. It's so I'm gonna look it up as soon as I'm done because I know Cider has something to show and it'll give me a good break. But like when we pull it up, you'll see there's this weird cut of momentum and it just doesn't feel right. And it's just like, this is the best you guys had after all this time.
Well, it's not only that; it's done it before.
Yes. Well, everything has to be. This entire show, apparently, from what I've been reading, is Iron Man again. Like it's the exact
Iron Man, but spiced. Spiced Iron Man.
Yeah. We finally put
Iron Man, but Black Twitter
or whatever.
You believe me when she goes home to her mom and her aunties and the friends are in there and they're talking about their crystals. I'm like, oh no.
Wait, is that a real scene or?
It's a real scene when she goes home. Her mom is there with her aunt and her best friend, and they're talking about healing crystals, and they're trying to talk her into embracing using crystals to purify her anger. Because she is a genius, and she is so smart that no one wants to hire her, despite her knowing that she would be hired by them if she truly wished it to be.
Okay, here's what's really stupid about this, Cider. Okay, so, by the way, and again, everybody out there, this is just from what I'm getting from the way Cider described it. Don't hold either of us to it super hard. I have not watched a second of this.
No,
crap.
hold him super hard.
Yeah, actually, put me in the record. Yeah, I want this in the congressional library. Never let anybody forget this next discussion. But as I completely forget the discussion right there. Crap. What were we just talking about? Oh, Iron Man, Riri. Oh yes, Cider. All I'm hearing is that this is just Iron Man again, or no wait, okay, I'm like totally tripping over myself.
Forget I said that.
Forget I said that. Yeah, I'll start slurring here.
Forget I said that.
We'll give Spencer some time to recover to whatever the hell he was talking about here. Just go back to talking about
Ironheart. We'll just go back. But that scene of the crystals. So the way Cider describes it, when he first said it, I was like, oh gosh, are they going to be like, yeah, we embrace our crystals, and she does this too, and it's all tribal or some weird thing. And when Cider told that scene recap, I went, oh, it sounds like Disney's doing the thing where it's like, haha, make fun of, you know, crystal people, and they're putting it up against Riri because Riri is science. And I'm like, that is kind of like, I would at least applaud that, because yes, crystal people, you need to be put in your place. Like,
it's that, but they ruined it.
Well, hold on, before they ruin it, I'm sure they do, but because this is what I'm predicting now is they're going to get to the end of the series or like the final battle or something, and there's going to be some dumb thing where Riri either has, like, she takes one of the crystals with her into her suit or whatever, and they're going to like validate crystal people at the end, right?
Yeah,
it'll be like
the Reiki Iron Man suit.
Right, it'll be like, oh, you built up like a brand new suit, Riri, and oh no, the battery went out or whatever in the very end, and the Hood's about to like get her, and then woohoo, the crystal vibing, like one little burst of energy for her to win.
Oh yeah, it's like the spirit bomb. Everybody with a crystal gives them her angsty energy.
Something stupid like that, and then at the end, it'll be like, I don't know how I want, and then Grandma's like, he's the crystal's child.
So yeah, Calypso from Pirates of the Caribbean is her grandmother. So anyway, when she first gets there, though, they ruin this whole approach. So you're right. She's supposed to be like, I am science, you are mysticism. That's stupid. Your healing came from Timu, whatever, that kind of thing. But the problem is that they are not using crystals in a plural sense. So she's offering Riri, she needs some black crystal. You need some black crystal. It'll clear you up. It'll help straighten you out.
Wait, that's what you're saying? Yeah, actually? Like black girl magic?
No. They're offering her crystal meth. It sounds like they're offering her crystal crystal meth. It's so littered with unintentional racism. You know, it's so littered with unintentional and probably totally intentional racism, but it's hilarious.
I gotta watch this stupid ass show later tonight.
You do, man, because like they started off with like, we want to make sure that Riri's not stealing anything. She's like, I would never steal anything, and she steals the Iron Man suit. Then proceeds to tell them, I can't build an Iron Man suit unless I steal. And by the way, she describes her cohorts as urban Robin Hoods. And I'm like, oh, that's a great FBI statistic. Let's go with that from now on.
There's a lot of urban Robin Hoods over there in New York City these days.
I mean, that's the same thing they did. Do you guys remember? I don't even know if it's on anymore, because thankfully it's, again, the reason we need to build the wall on that side of our borders. But that Canadian like Robin Hood show that was like the CW.
Robin Hood.
Yeah, like literally where it was like Robin was a young black girl in the projects and was like a rapper, and then her merry men like were like masked like
we need to be honest here. Look, there was a show called Degrassi that came out like 20 years ago, and it was like essentially the Trojan horse that made people think that, oh, maybe Canadians aren't that bad, eh? And then like 20 years later we realized that no, they're worse than the Mexicans. We literally built the border the wrong wall on the wrong border. We should have kept the people to the north out.
So wait, also you're saying the first suit, so that like white one or whatever,
that's
stolen?
Yes.
Like that's a
so
not like, oh, somebody gave it to me, or I just found parts of it.
No.
It,
so the whole premise of this thing is that Riri went there on a grant, went to MIT on a grant,
right?
And she has constructed this suit with the grant money, but she has gotten herself kicked out of MIT because she is selling her inventions to help other kids pass for exchange for money. So they have kicked her out. Her logic for this is that she used the money that was granted to her for her education to build the suit. Thus, she owns the suit. Bye. And that's what she does. So she literally steals the property of MIT because she put her money into, I guess, the metal that it was made out of, despite using their tools, their education, their programming, all their stuff.
I'm actually on her side in this one because I hate that shit. Like if I hate what is that called? Like if I'm working for you and I invent something, that should not be yours. Like that should be mine, and I should be able to monetize that.
But the problem is that you're on grant with them, right?
Well,
so,
wait, Spencer.
Yes, that's true, and I still hate it. I still think it's stupid.
You're talking about like a neato medical device and something very helpful. This is a tool of war. It's like someone flying a
but-
predator drone out of like mine
But
now,
also-
bitch.
but here's the bullshit. So everybody might be laughing, like, yeah, it's a weapon of war. Why would you? I know for a fact that if somebody made like a predator or like a homemade drone with a gun on it, all the 2A people like rightfully would go, why are we shitting our pants about that? And it's like, okay, so here's the thing. I don't care what its function is. At the base, the concept of like you make something and just because you made it on somebody else's time, they own it. Like,
yeah, it's called being an independent contractor.
Yeah,
That's literally what it's called.
that is what it is. I don't have to be okay with it. Like, just because something sucks doesn't mean I have to go, yeah, okay, let's accept that. Like, I'm on Reese's side in this one. If she built that all with her own hands, that's her suit.
Again, what's expressed is that this is a violation of how they operate. So,
and I don't care. Like, MIT is in the wrong.
But here's the problem, though, because if she built it with her own materials, yes. But if she built it using somebody else's materials, then they own the. So you can own the invention for it, but if you use somebody else's material, then you're talking about literal. Like,
the show didn't spend this much time talking about it. They just
now we're arguing about property rights.
Said they didn't want her to take the suit, and she did, and that was bad, and that was the end of the discussion about her and the suit and the MIT.
We're putting way too much thought into the more than the writers.
His logic was that she broke the law. So what her resulting effect is that she ends up damaging the suit, and so it's inoperable, and it becomes a rendition of Superfly, I think, a scene where there's a man dressed as a pimp walking down the street and people are laughing at him. I think it's it's a blaxploitation movie that they're parodying with Riri going down the street wearing her injured armor and everyone's pointing and laughing at her as she's
was that was literally a bit from what was that movie? Because we watched it on movie night. It was that Wayne's movie, I'm Gonna Get You Sucker. Remember
that
that
one?
movie?
Yes.
Yeah,
it is.
It's a parody of that. So it's meant to be that she is being ridiculed for wearing her broken armor in the street, despite it looking completely alien anyway. So people would be like, hey, you're obviously from space, right? Because the last time this happened, those guys were from space. But no, she's an idiot, I guess, in this universe. I don't know what's happening. So she gets on a bus.
It sounds like they're trying to do the like quirky YA sort of storyline, but they're also ignoring that like there's things that have happened in this universe.
No. Here's the problem. Every time they try to do something quirky in YA, they immediately forget how unlikable they are. And okay, you go ahead and I'll have a counterpoint to this because this will actually lead on to one of our next topics.
I just want to kind of like accentuate what you're saying, Spencer, because in Riri's world, everyone around her acknowledges that she is the superest of super geniuses to ever smarty smart pants. Everybody. Even the college, like they're like, you're so smart. We made sure that because you're black, you got in. No, that's a line. She literally says people like us. I had to pull strings so people like us could get in. Okay, so like she's literally telling Riri that your behavior is so bad that we had to make excuses for you being black to be here. Okay,
good God,
it's like it's so out of its head.
It's that 24/7 need for affirmation. That's what it is. Like
so
the writer is literally creating a multitude of canon fodder that tells the character how good she is.
Yeah.
And that's all it is. Everywhere she goes, everyone tells her she's a genius. She goes to this restaurant with like her assigned like communicator, like, hey man, like your gang member guy you're supposed to be with that keeps tabs on you. And like she goes in there, handler, the gang handler guy. And so she goes to this restaurant, and this restaurant is littered with like news clippings about her. This guy's not related to her. He just appreciated her young genius in his community, and he has like 15 framed newspaper clippings about Riri Williams being a genius. And they want to show you all of them. It's like, okay, I understand. She's super smart. What next? Nothing. She doesn't.
But that also
complains
weird.
She complains about funding. Get this. She complains about funding. But her inventions are good enough to get kids through MIT, just pretending that they know what they do. They didn't make them. So she's not selling these fucking things.
Yeah.
Well, if she is selling them, she's like not okay. Like it doesn't. It just none of this logic makes sense.
She even concedes that Lockheed Martin tried to hire her, and she turned it down because she'd be in Palo Alto having to hang out with people she didn't like. And I was
that
like,
was it. It wasn't the bombing of
no, it wasn't the weaponry.
Palo Alto.
I don't want to hang out with people in the desert. That's why I turned down Lockheed Martin. I don't want to hang out with people in the desert. I'm okay with murdering people.
Also, the desert, like what?
White Nerdigans? It is like not even like what is happening here?
Dude, I know where it is. I know where Lockheed Martin is in Palo Alto. Palo Alto is not the desert at all. First of all,
It's
but like where Lockheed Martin is, it's like not even close.
It's in like the trees, right?
Yeah,
like, that's what
exactly.
California is like.
Well,
guys, this show was written by frauds. Like, why are we surprised that this doesn't make any sense?
It's
just frauds.
California frauds. They should at least know
California.
California. Yeah, exactly.
It's not it's not like Southern California where that's the desert. Like, no, it's Northern California, which is the land of the trees. The Lorax would be loving it up here.
Seriously. And like just before you guys go on, and I'll let you have it from here, I just wanted to hit that YA point real quick. What we were saying a second ago about, they write this like a YA thing and then everybody becomes insufferable. That is sort of that is what they don't realize about YA, right? So like these modern writers, these sort of we saw it a little like a couple years ago when book talk was still bleeding out into the other edges of the universe, where people were like, oh, why do you hate on somebody for, who cares if they just want to read, Harry Potter over and over and over again? Does that make them dumb? And it's like, it doesn't make you dumb, but like, you're not growing, you're not progressing, you're keeping yourself stunted because you refuse to grow up and engage.
Perhaps.
What was that?
Held back, perhaps.
Held back. No, 1,000%. You're holding yourself back. And so when they go to write these shows, they write the YA protagonist. But here's the thing, guys, is the YA protagonist, when they're whiny or they're up their own butts or they're very like insufferable, that's supposed to be a setup to them getting the legs kicked out from underneath them, right? Like the kid in the hatchet. He's all, oh, I hate the nature. I don't want to do any of this. I hate you, Mom. And then he crashes in the wilderness and he's like, oh, I had it good. I need to get back to that. I'm thankful. Even Katniss was like that.
Yeah.
But with these writers, they just go, they take that like, oh, I'm so cool. And they play it like they just run with it. Like that is good. They confirm like all of you being an insufferable little child is good. And that's how we get here. So yeah, take it away, Snyder and Jacob. Hell yeah.
I want to frame it into this because we can parlay this into another conversation here, but essentially here's the problem here. We've talked about this many times before. These people don't know what good and evil is anymore because they've spent so much time blurring the lines. What they think is good is actually bad, and what they think is bad is actually good. Here's what I mean by this. WWE superstar Rhea Ripley did an interview a couple of nights ago, and you guys know my whole situation with her months back, but and this is a perfect example of this. When you watch her on television, all you see is this big, giant, tatted up woman who has like, demons and all kinds of just like weird pagan occultic tattoos up and down her body. But on the show, in the context of the show, she's supposed to be the good guy. Now, nothing about her look spells, oh, this is the baby face. This is who the hero that we should be looking up to, right? And she talked about her problems working with Vince McMahon a few years earlier. Because Vince McMahon, as much as people complain about Vince McMahon, even Vince McMahon came to this conclusion, like when you look at her, it's like you don't scream babyface, you scream heel. And the problem was that she was trying to get Vince to essentially go with this direction of no, I'm cool, people like me, and Vince is like, oh, I don't know about that, pal. Yeah. But then all of a sudden he steps down and now Triple H is in charge. So now Triple H has essentially put Rhea Ripley in the role of being the good guy, and along with that you have people like Damian Priest, CM Punk, and a whole bunch of other people who all have weird quasi Satanist gimmicks that are all portrayed as the good guys on television at the moment. And it's the disconnect of essentially what the mainstream audience sees, the normie sees, versus what these people in the bubble see about themselves. They see themselves as the heroes of the story. Anyone with a naked eye who's not coming to this with any bent whatsoever sees that it's like, that's not heroic, that looks evil to me. And this is the same thing with Ironheart here. They think that they're the good guys in the story, so they're telling a story under the guise that they're the heroes, not realizing you're not the hero. So you wonder why there's a disconnect, is because you're trying to tell people that no, I'm really good, while you essentially have a knife stuck behind your back. It's like, no, I don't think that's how this thing works. And if we're not going to acknowledge the elephant in the room, none of these shows that you guys are putting out are ever going to be a success, because you're too arrogant to accept the reality of, hey, you guys aren't nearly as likable as you think that you are. And then maybe if you toned it down a little bit, people would actually like you a little more. But now you're going down and saying that, no, Riri's great. She's amazing. Like, you have to see just how smart she is. So now you're telling me this character, who's clearly not the hero here, how good they are. So now you're like trying to gaslight me into liking this character. Then when people essentially refuse and take their hand back, that's when the insults come. It's like, oh, you're this and you're that. And then all of a sudden we started these little fights here. And yeah, this was the screenshot before Rotten Tomatoes did their thing and got rid of all the negative reviews. It started at 32%, and then a lot of the reviews got wiped out. Then I think it's at the point now where it was like 60 something the last time I checked. I'm not sure what the exact number was, but I know it went up before it flipped around.
The pervasive theme with Riri is that she continues to mismanage her talent. That is like the tragedy of Riri is that she's constantly choosing an easy route to get money as opposed to sitting down and saying like, hold on, I was inventing things that got people through MIT just on site alone. Maybe I should submit these things to Stark Industries because what do you know? These guys are pretty cool. Here's the kicker. Riri continues to demonstrate she knows jack shit about Tony Stark. She only knows what the headlines come through. The show literally opens with her saying the only reason why Tony Stark became Iron Man is because he's a billionaire. And that's just that. She's just like, that's no problem, but that's how life works. It's like, well, no. He was tricky enough to understand how to build a weapon system out of scrapped Stark tech in a cave when he had a hole in his chest. It's a little
yeah, he made the other Iron Man suits and that gave him like the resources, but Tony made those all himself. Like,
I
hated
not to mention the context.
Time travel in a night. Like, what do you want from him?
and the context here is that he used essentially tech that was stolen from literal terrorists when he made his first suit. Like, that seems to be a key point of information that completely goes over people's heads.
He turned a bunch of Jericho missiles into a flamethrower suit of armor that flew him a few miles into a sand dune. Like,
I mean, even to what we're talking about, Riri's got the MIT resources. Tony was in a cave. Like, that's the meme,
with
right?
scraps.
She builds a very competent suit that she escapes with. Of course, it's damaged, and she has to scrap it together. And that's what we continue to see in the show. You see in the previews that really scrappy-looking suit it's pieced together. That's the post-damage suit where she's had to, piece it together. And so she has the classic, inventor wants to create the thing to do anything possible to get that thing done. Doesn't matter what she has to do to get the goal accomplished. The ends justify the means, that attitude. And so that is the kind of the crux of Riri, is that she's an arrogant asshole who is so hyper-focused on fixing a problem that's not hers to fix. And she doesn't care about how she got to the position she's in. It's everybody else's fault that she's stuck there now. And so, again, like, they don't try to move her out of that position. They validate her over and over and over again that outside influences continue to flux her ability to grow and become more than her environment. However, what the show continues
it's always someone else's fault, right?
Right. And what the show tries to tell her is that you're not the only one who's stuck down. So you've got to put this rat team of ragamuffin thieves together and turn them into superheroes against the Hood and his magical Crunchberry stuff. I don't really know. It makes
me really sad because, like, I like the Hood in the comics, and when
this is not the Hood.
This
of
is
the
so
comics.
bad.
Not
this is
at
so
all.
bad, man. This is so bad.
And so, again, like, so the show kind of like so far is culminated with Riri coming to the conclusion that she can command this mystical artifact that made the Hood so powerful. However, she's not convinced that it's mystical. Rather, they're trying to dial all the way back to the first Thor movie where Thor was drawing circles in the sand trying to get laid with Jane, saying magic and science are the same thing where I come from, but don't look at me to explain it. And so that they're trying to go back to that where, like, magic is just misunderstood science, and Riri's going to reverse engineer that into
literally, they touched upon that in Doctor Strange when the Ancient One goes like, oh, there's science magic. And then there's this, vroom, 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 vroom. Like, magic is a real thing. We don't have to do this.
The people who wrote this decided the MCU was just too long of a Wikipedia article to read, so that was too much. So they were just like, screw it. Editors will fix this, or they won't.
They got through the article they got through the summary for Iron Man 1 and went, oh, I can't.
That's enough.
Too much.
I got it all now. Thor and Captain America, they do things. That's important. Whatever. Cheeseburgers. And so what ends up happening with Riri at the very end of what we have so far is that she is validated in her assumptions that the world is out to get her, that the only way to advance herself is to be what is it called when they borrow things? There's a special urban Robin Hood word for it. Appropriate. There it is. Appropriate. That's the word. So she's going to continue to appropriate excesses from other people. That's how she's wording it. So she's going to Robin Hood her way to fixing her suit and proving something to somebody somewhere.
So is it literally along the lines of the white man stole from us, and now I'm going to steal from the white man? Is that what I'm getting here?
Yeah, because Alden Albright, or whatever his name is there. So let's just call him Solo. Solo's whole thing is that he is
it's Solo.
He is the cucked out, weak, not effectual, super sorry to have ever been born son of Obadiah Stane, who is also somehow a world-class weapons dealer on the black market. Simultaneously, no spy, no ability to stand up for himself, but also an incredible warmonger.
That's not something you just get. Like, that's not a family business, guys. Like, out there. Like.
Yeah, it's not like Obadiah Stane was like, you know what I want to do? I want to build weapons of mass destruction, pass that on to my boy.
And on his last day, he's like, yeah, I know my boy's a little quiet, but shop's in good hands with him.
And he doesn't even have like an axe to grind with Tony Stark. He's like totally honest. His father was a complete psychopath, but for whatever reason, he was like, you know what? It pays good. And so he's got this suburban home with like this excessively huge bat cave garage underneath it with all the weapons and shit. And so that becomes her base of where she's like doing her bullshit. And his whole thing is that he falls in love with her on sight. And she's just real angry. And I have a real hard time with him even like finding a moment where he could appreciate anything about her other than how angry she is. So he's got a thing for angry girls, and that's the whole thing of his character. Is he's fallen in love with Riri. He'll do whatever she wants in order to keep her around. He's very desperate to be validated.
So he's a simp, essentially.
Yeah, there you go. That's the easy word for it.
Yeah.
He's a gigantic iron simp.
Yeah, Hollywood loves those guys.
And that's where we're left so far. The Hood is semi-unmasked. Riri comes to the conclusion she's being manipulated, but she's not quite sure if she wants to be direct about that. So it's one of those things where Iron Man shouldn't be involved in street crime.
This sounds like a CW drama. That's what this is giving.
It really is.
It's crazy.
That was Critical Drinkers. That was Critical Drinkers' take, as he says, I feel like Disney Plus has become the overfunded CW.
It totally has, and you know what? I'm starting to think that it's the same thing with Netflix, too, in a way. Because look at if you look at the stuff for like,
wait,
I'm
only becoming like that with Netflix. I mean, Netflix has been pretty bad for a while. It's been bad for a while.
Like Netflix was the standard.
Yeah, Netflix. You're right. Netflix is the standard for that because between like Fate the Winx saga and like the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, and now with Bet, which I'm almost done with that article. I just gotta get one more image. Like Bet is like straight up something set out of the CW. It really, really is. And now this, it's like, dude, the CW just has never gone away. It's just moved to streaming.
So
and a way bigger price tag. Like,
Leslie asks.
Oh yeah, go ahead. What's up, Leslie?
Well, Leslie asked, in the new Avengers coming out, will Riri team up with RDJ's
Oh my god, that'd be so funny.
I don't know, because she, again, and throughout the show, she demonstrates that she doesn't know anything more than the surface area about Tony Stark, despite having tried to like create an exact replica of his suit. So
basically, she's the writer.
Are we in like a universe where it's been so long that people don't know who Tony Stark is? Like, you think a guy who literally gave his life saving the entire universe.
This is Disney writing where, like 2 years after the Jedi destroy the Empire, they go back to being like complete legends that nobody has ever heard of. Right? Like,
But it's like, you know, if a guy literally saves the entire universe from destruction, you think that, they would talk about him a little bit more than Abraham Lincoln,
and he wasn't just a guy. He was like Tony Stark, the guy that brought free energy to the entire world.
Free energy. The Avengers saved the world from Thanos, invented time travel. Like, he did all of this.
The Iron Legion was like a disaster response, a global disaster response unit. So it's like, there's no way you could exist without hearing about the guy that runs Iron Man.
And like that's what's getting me, Cider, is that like from everything I'm hearing of this recap, it's like, okay, so if you were to have a character that was like, I'm gonna go, steal from the rich, give to the poor. I'm going to take this invention and I'm going to go crime fight. I know that this city needs it needs a hero. I'll be that hero. And she makes her own suit and goes. You can do something with that, and maybe Riri's what do you call it? Like MacGyveringness can work in that. But what really gets me here is that we're supposed to believe she's a hero, but none of this is done for any. It seems, and correct me if I'm wrong, Cider. All I'm getting from her motivation is like, I want to build a suit.
Yep.
You don't want to save anybody. You don't want to make the suit to Tony made all those Iron Man suits because he knew there would be threats, right? Like.
She mentions
it. I'm taking that for me. I'm taking that for me.
She mentions twice. She says she wants to build a suit that rescues people and saves lives, and then she says the second part she wants to give Iron Man tech to more people. And that's it though. The rest of the time it's I got to build this armor. There's no more expressed thought about that. It's I got to build this armor. Her reasoning just boils down to I want to help people and I want to spread around Iron Man technology. And again, this is a tool of war. I get everybody should walk around with a gun just in case, but it's a suit of armor that launches missiles out of its shoulders.
That's what I'm sort of getting now. It's like what in the Iron Man anything seems like it would be good one-to-one adaptable for regular life, right?
The nanotech maybe? I guess.
Maybe that? Maybe?
She doesn't even use that. Her suit's all mechanical. It's all Iron Man 2 level tech. It's not nanotech. So again, it really pushed her into a realm of you can't relate to her if you had any respect for Iron Man. This is purely for I would say young women who were mad at their boyfriend's adoration for Iron Man and wanted to see a character completely fucking drag him. Because constantly Riri's like, yes. I ain't gonna roast. Excuse me, I shouldn't do that. I'm too white. I ain't gonna roast Tony Stark. She keeps saying I ain't gonna roast Tony Stark, and it's like, hold on. What critique do you have of Tony fucking Stark, little lady? What do you have for a critique? His best friend was darker than you. What do you want out of him?
Of course, Tony's not like Jesus or perfect or anything, but when I look at him, I'm like, what really can you ding him on? Okay, yeah, he's kind of an asshole sometimes, but he's got a hot wife. He's got a bunch of cool friends. He's famous. He's got all these Iron Man suits.
Literally solved time travel.
He literally on his own. What do you want? The only thing you can roast him for is
solve time travel on accident.
Yes,
don't even try.
He was fucking around. He was like, "Oh shit! It makes a figure eight. Son of a bitch!" I figured out time travel.
None of us like this plot point that Tony did. Yeah. But if you established it, we're gonna hold you by that petard. And
that noose. At this point,
what is it really is because okay, you said will Riri team up with Doctor Doom, and it's like. What are they even going to do with her? They from what I'm hearing from these shows, we're almost in the end, 2 episodes. It's a prequel. Nothing
it's
there.
Over. It's not going to happen.
Wakanda doesn't leave her off with anything. There's no, I'm going to keep going and creating, or I'm going to go do this. She gets a rebuilt car that she was working on before. Shuri fixes it up for her as a thank you. And that's it. So the only way they could have Riri be that prominent like she is in the comics to Iron Man is to alternate universe this thing, and God, they might. Who even knows it at this point anymore?
What is this, Jacob?
Okay, so I know you guys need a little bit of context here. I didn't just throw up some random. I didn't just throw up some random Twitter user up here. It's what the hell is? Okay, so we guys know our good buddy CM, right?
CM.
He's back getting a little. Yeah, he's getting a little bit of heat from his. Because here's the problem. Punk's an idiot. And he thinks that he's one of these people who thinks he's the hero of the story. So now he's caught himself where basically his past comments have come back to bite him in the ass. This is what I mean here, is that this is from several years ago, before Punk came back to WWE, when he thought he was never going to come back. He went after The Miz over a little jab that The Miz did at him for a WWE show like 2018. And this is how a grown man, a 40-year-old man, responds to this thing. Go suck a blood money covered dick in Saudi Arabia, you effing dork. And this, you gotta play this whole thing out here, right? So if you guys recall, the reason why a lot of the modern WWE fan base doesn't like Saudi Arabia, remember back in like 2017, 2018, when Saudi Arabia killed that journalist who worked for the Washington Post? Remember that whole story? Chopped him up into little pieces and then sent his body in the bags all around. You know, the whole bagman treatment?
Yeah,
at the time.
Yep.
And a lot of people on the left were very, very upset by this. Didn't like Saudi Arabia for that reason. This is going to come back around too. Like I said, all this is going to come back to bite him in the ass. So CM Punk has pretty much standed for many, many years on this ground that he hates Saudi Arabia. He doesn't want anything to do with the nation. He thinks that you basically only care about money if you go to a nation like that. You know, the whole thing, right? Well, now he's back in the WWE, and guess what? WWE is still doing 2 shows a year in Saudi Arabia. So guess what happened? CM Punk went to Saudi Arabia. So everyone started throwing his past comments under the bus, saying, hey, you were all hardcore against Saudi for all these years. You were mocking people who went there, saying that they were sellouts. They only cared about money and all these comments like this. And now you're there doing the exact same thing, taking a big paycheck by the Saudi Arabia. By the way, this is the same guy who literally 2 weeks before this event went to the No Kings protest against Trump. He went to the No Kings protest and then 2 weeks later ended up in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
He's such a dork.
Like, so it gets even better. When he showed up, he got a lot of heat because this little video went viral. And this is a video of, I guess, a kid in Saudi Arabia who wanted to take a picture with Punk. And it was either him, security, or a combination of the two. Basically shoved the little kid to the ground. A lot of people were very, very unhappy by this because, let's be honest, Punk is a notorious dick. He's been one for many, many years. The reason why the fan base continues to make excuses for him defies all logic, but this is essentially where we're at with him, right? So now all of a sudden he's at Saudi Arabia, and guess what? The fans in Saudi Arabia did not forget what he said about their country and what he has said about their country for many, many years. So guess what? He got booed. He got booed heavily when he showed up there. So as a way to kind of, I guess, counteract all of his past comments about Saudi Arabia, he literally went on the WWE show live in Saudi Arabia and publicly apologized to Saudi Arabia, the fans, and the government. And this is what got him even more heat. This is his real apology from last, I think it was Friday or Saturday this took it. I want to say it was Friday, but this is his comments. A fan literally called him out to apologize. Now, some have says that this thing may have been staged in order to, I guess, repair CM Punk's image with the people in Saudi Arabia. I don't know if they staged it like that or not, but this is essentially what happened. Currently chanting, shut the fuck up. That's how unamused the Saudis are by this, by the minute. But go back to Arabia, everyone's named Muhammad.
You could have taken a shot in the dark. You were probably going to get it right, yeah.
So CM Punk, the voice of the voiceless, literally goes overseas and apologizes to Saudi Arabia, all of Saudi Arabia, for all the horrible things that he said. Keep in mind, the same country that, body bagged the journalist that caused this whole thing several years ago, that he finally came out to apologize. So that was all because he was going out there for a match against John Cena, which he lost, and it was a whole stink. Even people on the left are calling him out for his hypocrisy, because it was like, dude, you were literally the driving force of this issue for several years. So many of the fan base rallied around you. By the way, they're not allowed. They're not allowed to be there. I'm not even joking. It's not even. But by the way, just in case you haven't seen,
you don't say, Leslie. I wonder why.
Quick little sidebar. If you guys noticed, the women weren't even allowed to go to Saudi Arabia for the first couple of events. They've allowed the women, but the women have to wrestle in full body suits. They're not allowed to show any skin whatsoever as part of Saudi Arabian rule.
Yeah, they have to put on like superhero like
Yeah, exactly. So people, even on the left, called him out. It's like, hey, you were the biggest voice against Saudi Arabia. People literally rallied against Saudi Arabia because you still, to this day, there's major parts of the fan base that are anti-Saudi Arabia. And then now you apologize to them. Like, you're apologizing to them in order to take $1 million, $2 million paycheck to go wrestle a match in Saudi Arabia. Like, you've literally become the hypocrite. Like, you just become a big hypocrite. Well, that was last Saturday. So now Punk is back in the United States of America. They're in Pittsburgh tonight doing a show, and you know what the first thing he does when he comes back to Pittsburgh? He protests against. So this was the University of Pittsburgh Medical Center. So this, I think, was earlier today, or maybe it was yesterday, one of those two. But he punked back to the United States, and it was a demonstration against essentially the university's, I guess, response against cutting "quote unquote" gender affirming care, which obviously goes to the whole trans youth situation. Punk has been a very, very vocal supporter of, LGBTQ youth. You see him. This is when he was in AEW. He would wear T-shirts and signs and stuff like that. So now that he's back in the United States of America, now he's back on the protest scene. So he was protesting before he left, went to Saudi Arabia, apologized to them, then came back to the United States to do more left-wing protests. And now people are like, oh, you son of a bitch. You absolute scumbag.
No, this is like such a total scummy move. Like all of it, right? Like I was just making a mean tweet to the Miz. Well, okay, but you clearly referenced, the very real human rights violations that happen in Saudi every freaking day, and I'm so sorry, and then he's gonna come back here and he's gonna go right back on it. And guess what? He's probably gonna get heckled tonight, either on Twitter or in the crowd, and he's gonna do the same thing that anybody who gets caught in this crap does, and he's going to blame everybody else. What, was I not supposed to go to perform for our fans in Saudi Arabia? Like, no, shut up. Like, get over. If
so essentially what you're telling people,
go out there in the first place. Yeah.
Like I said, essentially what you're telling people is that your activism only goes as far as your wallet allows. Because when the Saudis are offering $2 million, when the Saudis are offering $2 million to shut the F up and apologize and lick the boot, you have no problem doing so. It's like, if you're right,
let's be real.
Right. Yeah, no, it is John Cena's level crap, except less funny because we don't get a cool video out of it.
Bing chilling.
Bing chilling. Bing chilling.
He
looks so scared in that video. I love it.
Probably was.
Well, I mean, yes, he definitely was. But yes, he was afraid of the Xi Jinping firing squad behind him. But it looks like he's afraid of the fact that he's reading, he's reading for the first time, and he's it's witchcraft.
You try to eat ice cream with two M16s pointing at your face to see how you look.
You know what? Yeah, fair, John. Fair.
So they. I didn't realize we were talking about CM Punk, so I do have one piece of Ironheart stuff left. And so I made this last night. I decided to fix Ironheart. I said, what if Ironheart was a magical girl live action show where Riri Williams is at Stark Academy and has to prove her worth against other geniuses for the mantle of Iron Man.
Whatever happened to show intros? Heck yeah. That suit looks actually. I like the heart there. Actually,
that hair is way too straight for a black woman.
Oh my God, the bread and.
This is literally like if Japan did Ironheart the series.
Well, I've seen enough.
So you have to let me know if you want to see the full Ironheart intro or not. But basically my concept is that, we didn't get Armor Wars, so why don't we get amateur Armor Wars? And we'll put her into a school against other people that have to build Iron Man suits, and they compete in a danger room simulated environment in order to show off what their suits can do without killing each other. And then, ta-da, you have Riri working her way up, improving the suit, evolving it, and eventually earning the title of Iron Man that she then transforms into Ironheart.
Dude, we could even take this a step further. You could make Solo like he's sponsoring it, right? Like, or so we reach out to like the 30 smartest kids in the U.S. or whatever, and we give them this, you know, invitation to the Iron Man camp or whatever, and you come and you build, and it, you know, everybody thinks they're having a good opportunity, but he's really using it to like suss out the next weapons thing or whatever, and then Riri goes, she learns that, there's your conflict. I'm actually kind of behind that over. I just got to steal from things for my own suit.
Well, and there was the September Foundation that Tony put together before he, before he died and stuff like that. And
there you go.
I feel like that this would be like the extension of the September Foundation. This would be, like the official, test to become the new Iron Man. Now, a user on X replied to the bounding account that I posted that video to, and suggested that Morgan be the direct rival to Riri in this. And I said,
I was just about to ask, like, where the heck is Morgan? Nobody has mentioned Morgan ever.
Well, I said, how about folding her into this, as Pepper won't let her compete because Pepper understands that heroism leads to getting yourself killed. And so she's already lost one person she loves to heroism. She'll spare her daughter from that. And so there is like this arc in the show where Riri and Morgan have to like suss it out. Are you worthy to take over my father's legacy because my mother won't let me? How do they bond over that? How do they get over that kind of thing? And I told the guy, I said, right here, you have a 5-episode arc that kicks the ass of whatever the Disney Plus show hopes to accomplish in their entire run. Because you've finally given Riri a purpose beyond, fuck you, I'm black and I'm going to do what I want. That's the only thing she's ever been since she showed up. And you know me, I'm not that guy that boils a character down like that. But that's just all she's ever amounted to. Exactly. Well, she's just angry black woman in STEM. That's all she is just angry black woman in STEM. But and she could be so much more than that.
And I know I sound like a broken record because I bring it up every time, but it's not only like I'm black and like it's all of her, like it's all self-imposed. You know what I mean? Because like if you guys remember that
100%.
origin, she's in her classroom and her white teacher, you know, Riri is like 4 or 5, whatever, kindergarten, and the teacher goes, draw like what you want to be when you grow up. And she goes over to like she's going around the class, she sees Riri, she says, what do you want to be? And Riri goes, I want to be Iron Man. And the teacher goes, that's awesome. Like good for you. Like maybe you could someday. And there are multiple Avengers teams. It's easier than ever now. And Riri goes like, oh, I was kind of hoping you would tell me that I couldn't because I'm like a woman and black and poor. And the teacher is like, okay, you'll never be Iron Man because you're black. And like, even in the art, the teacher is like, okay. And then Riri's like, fine, I'll show you. And then it's like, fast forward. And this is Riri now. And it's like, so even though everything was like, we were at a place of progress, you ignored it all because you wanted to be a victim, right? Like you couldn't just say, I want to be Iron Man. Let's go.
I did forget one teeny tiny little piece. It's enormous.
Oh, shoot.
The AI that governs her suit is...
How did she have one?
Well, that's just it, is that apparently in the Marvel Universe, you could just brain scan yourself and create an AI out of that now. You know, Tony Stark had to like have this advanced system in order to have Jarvis run, so much so that Ultron fucked it up that he couldn't clone Jarvis. He had to have Friday run everything after that. And she was half
Friday, yeah.
And she was half of what Jarvis could do. So it's like, what, you know, what the fuck? But apparently Riri just sticks some old iPod earbuds with the strings on her temples and takes a nap, and like the little like Apple loading bar scans your brain. And that, so anyway, that happens. But what happens is that rather than creating like an AI,
like where'd that come? Like where'd she get?
That's just the thing. She just picked that up at Radio Shack. You know, just pick that up at Radio Shack.
No, you're kidding. You're like,
I'm kidding. I don't know where she got it.
Oh, okay.
She just pulls this out. Like the show does this all the time. They're like, here's this miraculous technology that we've not explained any use of, and she just has this in her pocket. It's literally pocket size. You could make an AI out of your brain on your laptop. So anyway, she does this. She falls asleep, and she wakes up to the AI inhabiting her suit. The problem is it's her dead friend who died in a drive-by last year.
What?
Yes. Yep. That's the AI. And it manifests as a hologram of that dead person. Not with bullet holes, but close enough. And wearing the clothes she was killed in fact. And so Riri, of course, has a PTSD flashback, and we experience this sort of congruently with what's happening. Then
Hunger Games does this kind of stuff better than this. Like,
yeah. Well, her friend is of
I'm
course
talking about like PTSD and like manifesting, like
Right.
Katniss will like literally see someone that's died in front
Well,
of her and
in this-
like lose it. But yeah, that's what I
in
mean.
this regard, it's literally somehow the AI is of course doing this because the suit itself is not capable of projecting holograms. Hasn't done this at any point in the show up to do this point, but for some reason can do it now. Regardless. Oh, and by the way, the suit doesn't even have to be in the same room for the hologram to exist. It's pretty amazing. So, she should sell this tech. Like, fuck. What is she doing? She needs funding. Fuck. But anyway,
that was so bad it knocked down my green screen.
It destroyed your reality. So
Even
what
Kitty
happens?
had to
what
come
hap-
over and meow at this.
What
He was
happens
not
from this
like
point on is her friend is of course obnoxious teenage black girl. And again, I'm not trying.
Wait, there's
to be
more
like,
of them.
Yeah, she's even more obnoxious because she's not a super genius. She's just cocky because she's teenage black girl because the swagger of a black teen or whatever that quote was from that video game review. And so
It's Black Girl Magic, the show, Cider.
Spider-Man.
yeah, it really is. And so we end up finally with the big reveal about how the AI works. This isn't the final scene. This is one of them. Where Riri and her friend are showing off in the street. They're showing off the suit. They're partying, and the police roll up, and they draw on Riri, perceiving her to be an adversary that could harm them. The suit is quite aggressive looking, and so
Understandably so, yeah.
the girl at the sight of the gun, the AI girl at the sight of the
Did
gun,
a bag of Skittles fall out of her hand while that happened?
and an Arizona iced tea. No. Close though. She has an anxiety attack, and that glitches out the suit so Riri can't move. So the cop is telling her to do her thing and get down on the ground, stop doing the thing, and it's a whole parallel for like how black people end up entrapped and police are going to kill them because they can't do the orders for whatever reason, and they want to, but they can't accomplish the orders, so it's not their fault that it's this whole fucking thing to try and create this.
That really happens, and it's not like, remember the guy in the hotel?
Well, I remember the guy that got a clip unloaded in him because the lady thought she pulled her taser, and it was the gun instead, and she just unloaded in this poor man.
Well, I also remember when the cops responded to that guy, like an unrelated call in a hotel, saw a guy in the hallway, told him to get down on the ground, and he did cross his legs, and they still lit him up anyway. Like I understand that thing. My problem here is that this is what we talked about. Like the setup doesn't work because yes, there's a difference between like a human individual where you approach and if they had a gun and they were slashing a knife at you, that's a different thing, right? But that's the equivalent of what you're looking at.
Here's the other question.
Like a firearm. This is Cider said, this is an Iron Man suit. And
here's the other question. Even if you were trying to make that reference, which I'm not giving them that much credit, they're not that smart. Why are we doing this in a Marvel TV show? Like,
well, I mean, that's what they do now, right?
Like, what they're trying in the context, they're trying to show you that the girl AI is not invincible, and that her weakness is a firearm because that's what killed her. So she has a PTSD style anxiety. Panic attack
it's the AI that freaks out?
Correct. That can't. So Riri can't get away because the suit is frozen.
I thought it was Riri freaking out. This is
no.
More stupid. Never mind.
So,
Everything I just said doesn't. Holy crap!
That's what the context is that Riri can't obey the police's commands because the suit is glitched, and thus the tension rises. And it's compounding levels of dumb to try and create a scenario where a black person is in an unfortunate area with a gun. And so of course the girl AI is having the PTSD flashback, and she's glitching out, and Riri's trying to coach her. It is the most
inane. Why do you not have a shutdown button?
Well,
like a manual release. If your AI in a panic attack, I'm going to put in an emergency release because what if I'm fighting Thanos and all of a sudden it starts breaking down?
So I'm willing to give her that it's junk tech that she put together in a garage under Alden Eibrecht's house. I understand that's like, I get that it might not have a quick switch in the hand somewhere to get out quick.
She didn't have a Norton antivirus in her suit that could have prevented it.
It comes standard.
But the problem I have with this is that why? The whole like in the writer's room, why was this what they chose to do with that scenario? To again, they're just partying in the street. They're not out there committing anything awful in the middle of a battle. They're just horsing around in the middle of the street. So the cop is not approaching and like, you are an anti-Avenger individual. He's only responding to what he's perceiving as an Ultron robot that is like an Iron Legion robot that's not obeying
You
command.
brought it up, the Iron Legion earlier.
Right, because he can't see Riri's face yet in the scene. And so the whole, it's this... It's what Leslie says. I'm sorry, officer, my suit is tripping. It's pretty much what she tries to communicate. And so it's very poorly executed the whole way around. It's quite clear that they had an idea that they wanted to draw, to like, you know, crime is awful is what they wanted to kind of give out with this. And the victims are never not victims, even after they're dead, is kind of like the whole ambiance. But the problem is that it's just stupid, and it forces a scenario where you're like, this person who is not breaking the law is going to get shot, and there's no earthly reason for that to be the case.
Right,
So
like even if you were the most anti police activist, you would understand like Iron Legion giant freaking robot just landed in the middle of the street. What I would draw my gun too and be like, please, for the love of God, tell
you
me
didn't
are
say
not
you were
an
Iron Man
alien.
when you landed. Okay, I have a 50-50 shot that you're a killer robot because 6 months ago one of those tried to drop a city on an Eastern European nation.
Seriously, I don't even know where the timeline is now, but it's like we just had Mysterio do all the the like fake like monsters in London. You had everything that happened in Endgame. Like it's very understandable. Depending on where this happens, Thunderbolts has already happened, right? And
That's true.
You just had the Sentry take all of
pew people.
And
Yeah,
this is a guy who looks like intentionally supposed to be, you know, big golden superhero, and he just ding 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 to everybody. So giant suit just hanging out in the middle of New York. I'm gonna say, hey, what's going on?
that was the magic. That was the magic of Ironheart. So just brace yourself for impact with what happens for the rest of this, because from here, I'm not even sure how they evolve the character. The only thing I can give you is that she'll beat the pants off of the hood. That's the only thing they've got, from what I can tell. She doesn't have a relationship with anything within Stark, nor S.H.I.E.L.D., nor outside of Wakanda, unless Shuri shows up and says, by the way, I could need that car back. You know, it's just, unless that happens, there's...
I mean, like, that's what I was getting at, like, these last few weeks, whenever we rarely brought it up, is, like, this theory, like, as I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, Cider, this takes place after Wakanda Forever?
Yes. To my knowledge, that's what she's up to, because there's at no point...
Like, why don't you just go ask Shuri for help? Like, you're telling me you just built
to be fair, Spencer, that's like the fatal flaw of like every Marvel show or movie, right? It's like, how come you just don't ask Thor for help? You know the Hulk, ask Hulk for help. Where's Spider-Man when this is all going on? And that's the flaw of like every single series in this universe.
And like, I used to be able to like excuse certain things because like maybe admittedly I was like trying like from my nerd standpoint to make it work, but things like, why didn't Captain America help during Iron Man 3? And it's like, well, Iron Man 3 is technically nobody knows it's going on, right? Like that's a Tony mission. Oh, the Mandarin makes his broadcast. Well, Cap is also dealing with like, he's in Germany right now trying to find that computer so that they can take down S.H.I.E.L.D. It made more sense back then where like everybody was busy. But now, as Jacob says, it's like, oh, I know all of you aren't doing anything. Like, can you just come help me?
Yeah, and this is set after Wakanda.
It's after then.
Yeah.
Then that's so insane. Like, okay, because the entire thing you were telling me or us of like the setup is that I go to MIT, I try to make suit. That's their resources. I steal back. We go. That red suit she made in Wakanda Forever was made with the resources of Wakanda. Like she made it there. You're telling me that they're not going to be like, oh, black scientists, like, okay, you're really good. Come make us Iron Man armor, right? Like,
that was
what Iron Man armor for the Dora Milaje in that movie. I don't understand what's happening here.
That's been the compounding problem with this whole thing with Ironheart. Is at no point do people like Riri is so great and awesome. No one wants to work with her. That's just the takeaway from this is that she's so great and awesome. Nobody will hire her because she's just so great and awesome. They can't possibly make an offer. We do.
Wait, like that's what she says. Like I'm too good, and they're intimidated by me, so they won't give me an offer. I hate this show, man.
Well, it's how she's expressing herself during the Lockheed and Martin conversation that she's blown off these guys before. You know, that she's too good for all of this, that she wants to have real science epiphanies is what she keeps repeating. It's like, what the fuck does that mean? Gravity? What are you talking? Real science epiphanies. The fuck are you talking? You're in the Marvel universe.
Cider,
What the hell are you
Cider,
talking about?
Cider, they're talking about, oh my God, this is
A guy with a glove who was 12 feet tall with a chin the size of a pizza erased half the universe. What fucking science epiphany are you going to have?
No. This is just speaks to how crappy these writers are. That's such a Reddit mentality, right? Especially when it comes to science, is thinking like, if I go be a biochemist today, I'm going to be on the front lines doing all these, accidental, penicillin discoveries, and I'm going to be experimenting with all these unique cultures. And it's like, no, that's maybe like 2 people, and it's after years of like research by thousands of other people. That epiphany stuff doesn't work. Like stop being so Reddit about it. You will spend most of your time in a science field doing very boring, repeatable research, because that's how we get science. Like that is such a, I want to be doing real science. You would be like, what is this?
You're at MIT. You built an Iron Man suit. What is real science, madam?
You built a AI creator, like
Iron Man,
a portable AI creator. What more can you ask for?
The original series of Iron Man suits ran on an experimental reactor that rested in a man's chest. How much more science do you need, madam?
You've got your time travels. We've already got your Infinity Stones for like interdimensional. Like, this is so dumb.
It is. It's super dumb. And speaking of maybe not so dumb, we do have a Street Fighter update.
So it has now been confirmed that Roman Reigns, WWE superstar Roman Reigns, will play Akuma in the upcoming Street Fighter project thing. That's probably the best way I can describe it.
How do you feel about that? Because you have the most experience with Roman. I know Roman, and I just like roll my eyes because I'm like, you're never gonna make him happen. Stop. And that's what I feel like here. Like,
they're making him happen now. Hollywood's making him happen now.
They're trying, yeah, and I'm like, I mean, what was it? He was in Fast and the Furious, the Hobbs and Shaw, and then he was cut out of Brave New World, and now he's going to be Akuma in a Street Fighter movie. Like,
yeah. And this is the thing. It's like kind of where I was at, a few weeks ago when we talked about this potentially happening. Is that it's really difficult to tell whether this is a good thing or a bad thing, because ultimately we really haven't seen Roman Reigns act. Like, we've seen him on WWE, but I wouldn't really call that acting. We haven't really seen him in the position to know where he lines up in the line of like pro wrestler turned actor. Like, is he the next John Cena? Who knows? Is he the next Rock? Who knows? Is he gonna flame out like Dave Bautista? Who knows? Like, there's a lot of ways that this can go. We just don't have enough body of work to say which way this whole thing's gonna pan out. But they're giving him a big push. Like I said, it's not like he's getting a minor role in this.
No, that is like the big bad. That's why like they're trying too hard. You're pushing him too hard. But yeah, guys, in case you didn't see the news, we got a giant update on Thursday afternoon for Legendary's Street Fighter movie. Legendary being the company that does Godzilla, a bunch of other things that are like completely blanking off of my head right now. You've seen their logo around. I know they did Alita Battle Angel. You know them, you love them. They're a generally good studio. But yes, they are doing a Street Fighter movie. We have announced that, let's see, what did we get this time around? We got confirmation, yes, that Roman Reigns is Akuma. We have this Kalina Liang, very, very new actress, it looks like. Literally, I looked up her credits when I was editing Ryan's thing, and she has like 2 very, very small roles in these like indie films, and then she was a TikTok star. So it's like, all right, let's see what you got. We have her. We have okay. The other 2 big ones, I'm like torn on because I think one is good and one is just insufferable. Like, we have 50 Cent as Balrog, which I think is just you nailed it. I have nothing to complain about there. 50 Cent is not a good actor. We've seen him act before, but you look at maybe we'll get some fun campy cheese out of it. I don't know. But then the other notable casting was what's his name? Dan Hibiki. So the pink G fighter, the one who like tries to be like Ken and Ryu, but is kind of like a pathetic loser. He is going to be played by comedian Andrew Schultz. And if you guys don't know who that is, you've probably seen him around social media. He does a lot of those videos where somebody will like, you know, let's say it'll be like Jacob be like, hey, what's going on? Like I'm out here at you know, the Atlanta Mall and why is it so empty? What's going? And then it'll cut to Andrew and he'll be like, you think this is, you're dumb. Get off, like go do something else. You're stupid. Like it's just, he's not funny. And yet they're gonna, you know, they say he's a comedian. They're gonna try and make him Dan.
The thing is, like, when he's on his show, he's pretty funny. I haven't seen anything from like his stand-up that makes me go, "Oh, this guy's hilarious." So it's like he's got to be in the right setting if you're gonna make him like a thing. And I don't know if this film is gonna pan out of that.
I really just, you're totally right. Like he's more of a podcast person. Like that's his zone. Not saying like he should only do that, but like that's his zone. And now you're putting him in this big role in a big property, which like it could work, but we've all seen, when it comes to video games especially, we've all seen how this goes. So it's like you really, really have to show us something. Like that first trailer needs to slap or we're all going to be out.
Okay, did we lower the bar so
Mortal
hard
Kombat 2
with Mortal Kombat 2 that essentially anything looks better by comparison to whatever the hell that was at this point? Like, did we lower it too far?
Yeah, I think we kind of did. Because
Too late now.
You saw Mortal Kombat, or the new one, right, Jacob? Like the 2018.
It's been a while, and I can tell you it wasn't that memorable. Like
that's all I was getting at. Is like that movie kind of sucks, and yet everybody was going like, "We're back! We finally broke the curse. Good video game. Good Mortal Kombat." And I'm like, yeah, exactly.
This is the same movie that didn't even let Johnny Cage, one of the original 8 Mortal Kombat characters, in the game because apparently it felt he was too white for the like. He's one of the original 8. Like, sure, if you don't want Stryker in the game, then don't put him in there. But you can't cut out Johnny Cage.
It's like cutting out like Ken. Like what are we doing here?
So Leslie asked, she says, is this Street Fighter movie going to be live action or animation? And it's going to be live action. So again, like when it comes to the casting of 50 Cent, they did nail it with Balrog. So I think they'll be able to nail that. So yeah, I can't wait for the real quick about Balrog.
A real quick sidebar on 50 Cent. Apparently, he broke up with his girlfriend recently, and his girlfriend went on some podcast complaining about they broke up because she asked her for like $10,000, and he basically just cut it off immediately. She was trying to shame him, be like, "Yeah, don't ask him for money." It's like, well, he literally wrote a song. I'm not sure if you ever heard this song that literally says, "I don't know what you heard about me, but a bitch can't get $1 out of me." And apparently you thought that he was kidding when he said that.
Like that was on the box. I don't know what you expected.
Yeah, this is from one of Andrew Schultz, Brilliant Idiots, which is one of his podcasts he has on. I think he has like 2.
Is that Charlemagne?
Yeah, so this was this is like, if you put him in this setting, he's great. Like I said, I just don't know about like TV shows and movies.
Charlemagne's faithful, Joe eats health, potato. It is what it is.
Yo, why you bullshitting?
Shout to my guy, Stylebender,
Yo, you
man.
don't think elk is good as a motherfucker? Have you ever had elk?
You into elk? Elk's good.
What, bro? Elk is good as shit.
You ever tried cheating?
Charlemagne.
Yes.
Because that shit is fire, bro. Cheating, bro? You ever try that?
No. Cheating? I don't give a fuck what y'all say. Cheating's not always correct.
Yeah, I'm going to get you back to cheating, bro, this year. That's my goal. That's my goal for 2019.
16 years. How long you been faithful?
Wow.
You want my blog post for the shade room? 16 strong, baby. Oh, let's fucking go.
Like I don't even find that funny. Like that's
that's not funny.
Like it's equivalent of the 4 of us laughing. I wouldn't say like, yeah, ask me as a Dan right away. But yeah, so that's who you're gonna get for Dan. I'm also kind of worried because like Andrew doesn't seem like the kind of person who can take jokes about himself. We've seen that behavior on like social media a lot, and that is what Dan is. Like he is the butt of jokes. So we'll see how that ekes out. But then otherwise, guys, we have Andrew Koji, who you guys might remember as Snake or Storm Shadow in Snake Eyes. He's in talks to be Ryu. Noah Centino, who played the Atom Smasher in Black Adam, he's in talks to be Ken. Momoa is going to be Blanca. Eric Andre is in talks for Windbag, who, if you guys don't know who that is, that's technically just the announcer throughout the entire series. And then this, I forgot about this one, but this one is actually kind of exciting to me. Walton Goggins as freaking Bison. Like, I'm kind of excited. I just love Walton Goggins in anything. So put him in there. You've sold one ticket to me.
Okay. I don't recognize most of those names, so I'm just gonna have to wait and see
know
how they
Walton
look wearing their
Goggins.
costumes.
He was in Fallout. He was in the Fallout show.
Is he the
was
ghoul?
Ghoul. Yeah.
Oh, okay,
and then
that guy.
He's in Righteous Gemstones. He's in so much. He was the bad guy in Ant-Man and the Wasp that they never followed up on.
As long as Pedro Pascal is not in this movie, I think people will be happy. I'm so tired of.
I'm just tired
so
of him.
done of it. I'm tired of them trying to make Pedro Pascal into like the next Brad Pitt. That's what it feels like to me.
I don't know about that. I just it's an oversaturation.
Based on like the photo shoot that I saw recently, like
everybody
gets
like
everyone
though,
touching
it.
I was just like, dude, like now it's like they're trying to push him into being like the next sex symbol, like a Brad Pitt or like a Matthew McConaughey or something. I'm just like, no. He's not that. He's not. Stop gaslighting me into thinking he's hot. He is not hot. Just stop it.
If you're in the dads, you know, he's got that like dad look, you know, he's got that I trade of Wall Street stuff added look to him, you know, country club dad look.
He's an attractive man. Yeah, I'd still say he's an attractive guy.
I don't think he's hideous. I don't know what sex symbol.
I'm not saying he's ugly, but like they're trying to put him onto this pedestal of like where he's like a Brad Pitt or like a Matt Damon or a George Clooney. He's not.
I don't know about that.
That's what it felt like with that photo shoot recently.
Okay, but see, you're going off of one photo shoot. What movies have they pushed him in trying to make him a sex symbol? What interviews have they done where it said, like, talk about you being sexy? Like, even in that photo shoot, it's just the weird hands photo. He's not shirtless. He's not anything else. Like,
you know,
not in print.
Completely naked.
I will say it's not in print as much, but there has been narratives about that on social media. I'm not saying that it's been like written like that, but they have tried.
Yeah.
There's definitely been women out there that have tried to prop him up as that, and he's absolutely not that at all.
Socially, you see it all the time. But I mean, like from Hollywood, I just haven't seen them going like, Pedro is sexy.
Now you say that, and then what's going to happen is a month later he's going to be the world's sexiest man, and you're going to eat your rewards immediately.
1,000%. And I will print them out on stream, and I'll eat that paper. Like I'll do it, but like yes, right in this moment. Give it a week when the Fantastic Four press starts, and I'll probably be completely wrong.
So we have another hiccup going on out in the world right now. So if you don't know, in the European Union right now, there's a discussion about how video games with online capabilities are handled when that online capability is no longer available. For whatever reason, the corporation decides they don't want to have that service or whatever available any longer, so they don't.
We like money.
So, the European Union has now, not like officially, this isn't from the government itself. It's a group of people that got together to create the Stop Killing Games initiative. I'll show that to you in just a few minutes. What I'm going to illustrate here is that there's a known game dev guru, guy named Pirate Software. You might know him as Jason Hall, Thor. He is not the Asgardian one, but he is well known in gamer circles as a gamer, as a dev, as someone who used to work for Blizzard, as a hacker, like the good guy hacker.
Oh, I actually didn't know that he worked for Blizzard. I actually didn't know that.
Yeah, apparently he was quality assurance at some point. People claim his dad got him that job, but you know he had the job.
My uncle who works at Nintendo.
Yeah, that's the fat guy in the WoW episode of South Park. That's his dad.
Oh, really?
The fat guy, yeah, that's his dad. Yeah, that's his dad.
Hilarious.
So, you know, Thor is well known. He's acted as kind of like a guru for beginner game devs over the past couple of years, just generally being an encouraging figure. He hasn't been out there like, I will sell you a course on how to be the manliest gamer ever. Unlock the matrix.
What was
of
that
gaming,
streamer
you know?
course or whatever? Streamer
Yeah,
University?
Streamer
That one
University.
guy?
There was none of that. Of course, he had like tiered subs and stuff because of Twitch
yeah.
and stuff. But he just had a ferret camera going on while he played video games and coded and fixed his own game for a while there, and then he started working on other people's games to show how it's done. And like I said, he's just been an encouraging figure. However, as with most of these internet personalities, they're not going to stay 100% on the level all the time. So Thor approaches things from a developer perspective. And so he approaches the European Union question about how to deal with games that are online, however, losing that online capability due to whatever reason, as saying the corporations have the right to do this. And so thus the controversy around him has exploded in every direction possible. So they've review bombed his game. They have come after him on every level, even having professional coders go after his game to try and make him look like a boob through this. So, and the reason why I'm wording it like this is that there's a lot of people that believe that this is the righteous comeuppance of a man turning against the consumer. And the reality is his approach to this is that he has a job with corporations who do make money offering games like this that do have a vested interest in ending them without having to pour more money into them to make them capable of being offline only. Now, again, Stop Killing Games is not asking the corporations to go in and reprogram a game. What they're asking is that as it's being put together, please remember that someday you might want to make this offline only and cut off online services. And we'd really appreciate if we paid $50 to $80 for this, that we could do something other than melt it, So, yeah. And so that's kind of where this whole controversy has come from. Ubisoft has been massively embroiled with this through the Crew 2 lawsuit, because they've done this. They sold the Crew 2 on. Yes, you can play offline, but the majority of what we're selling this game on is you and your friends can have Fast and the Furious heists, vehicle-based heists, and you can go out and customize your vehicle and do crazy things with cars, but not like Just Cause crazy, but up against it, And so, again,
right up before making like a new engine.
right. And so fun time with this whole game, and then all of a sudden they said, whoops, we're done with this now. Bye-bye. See you in number 3. And so naturally consumers, after paying something like $50 in tax for this, they were quite upset to find out that they were no longer able to play the game that they were sold. And so Ubisoft has moved into saying that you are paying for a license to play their games now. You are no longer the owner of your game. You are paying $50 to $80 for the privilege of playing the game for as long as Ubisoft says you're allowed to. And so Pirate Software has found his way into the shadow of Ubisoft's argument due to his reluctance to embrace what these consumers would like to see is at the base level of making these things, please make sure that when you set off the servers, we can still do something with this game. And if you don't want to do that, please allow us to seek a third party to host this stuff. And so, again, not that hard. The corporations are not on the hook for anything, but it is a pain in the ass to go back into a game that you may not have released yet, but to go back into the game and have to put this stuff in. So I do get it from the corporation perspective. The other thing is that they want to control this forever. It is a huge price incentive for them to be able to kill a game. I can't tell you how annoyed Sega is that you and I can go back and play Sonic Adventure. They told us we're never going to get a Sonic Adventure remaster. Never.
Well, like you also look at the fact they've been doing this for a little while now. They've been like taking down, like Sega in particular, they've been taking away like free games that you could have downloaded from like the iOS Apple Store or Steam or whatever, because they're going to re-release them in some stupid collection. Like it's really dumb.
And so this is again like kind of the argument that people are making. Like, I want to be able to play this later on. The corporations are like, you know what? I don't think I want you to do that. I think I want you to have to buy the Crew 3 in order to keep doing things you're doing in the Crew 2.
Yep.
And so this is where Pirate Software comes into a problem. He's saying, I don't agree with abusive practices, but I don't want corporations forced into having to do things that are against their best interest. So
I do. Fuck that. What is wrong with him?
This is his argument, is that it's unreasonable to ask these game corporations to prepare to lose control of this game.
No,
and
it's
so
not ingenuous. Yeah,
exactly. but again, he comes from it from the developer end, the corporate end that says like, "Hey man, your job is to like strategize with us on how to sell these things." So
I understand where he's coming from, but that doesn't mean I have to validate.
Right.
He's talking from the corporate angle, sure, but all of those arguments are completely unfounded.
And so naturally, gamers decided to take this out on wherever they could, and they found his indie game Heartbound and its early access status, and decided to take out their frustrations on that. Some people were paid, people who bought the game and reviewed it through that. Other people were simply starting discussions in order to register their complaints with his opinions. And of course, this created a cascading effect where people were banned, threads were locked, and a lot of feelings were hurt, which brought us to this situation happened yesterday afternoon, where a user deliberately went and bought the game and then, effectively tore it apart, attempting to find the weaknesses within it to expose that it in fact was not as airtight as Thor had presented it to be, and that it did have an online necessity, so that he himself was protecting his own game's logic with his argument against the stop killing games, because his game requires you to have an online connection to authenticate. However,
there you go.
However, it doesn't. So here's the tricky part. He claims it doesn't because Steam is on your computer. And so all this game does is ask Steam, are you the guy that has the right to own this? And Steam says yes. And because it's already in your library, it says it's okay.
It's not how that works, though.
However, you can go in and edit those files so you unlock everything in the game at once without ever having to try, which is what the game is meant not to allow to happen. And so this guy went and exposed all of this stuff. And of course, Pirate Software was upset about it and explained that it wasn't that and this. We did a video about it. And led to this person being banned for the review. Now, what I have to stress is that this review brought up Stop Killing Games twice, and Thor had made it clear that he didn't want Heartbound to be, the Steam community around Heartbound to be about this Stop Killing Games thing, because it has nothing to do with his game. It's not at all attached to what the argument is. And so
doesn't matter. That's so this Pirate's so full of shit. Keep going.
It's just how he operates. He's one of those guys. And so
it doesn't matter. He's still full of shit. I understand this is who he is. Doesn't mean I have to go like, oh, that's just him. Let it go. Like everything he's doing here is so anti-player, anti-common sense, anti-consumer that it's like none of this looks good for him.
It inflames
still play
people.
video games.
Fuck yeah, I do. We're also not gonna look at big anime titties.
This guy's making it harder. That's for sure. This guy's making it harder. But so he again came out and explained that like this is how it works. This is why you're wrong, and that kicked off yet another wave of no, you're wrong. And he's already bowed out of this conversation twice already in the past 2 weeks, and he just keeps getting like John Wick dragged back into it again. Like he can't resist jumping into the fray and start and like getting into it again. So it's one of those things where my opinion on this is, of course, with you guys about Stop Killing Games. We have to have an end route about this online thing. It may not be a problem today that a lot of people are concerned about. Tomorrow it will be. Because they already want to push for this digital thing, and guess what that means? When you don't have a game on your shelf, you don't have a game in your library if they don't want you to have that game anymore.
Bingo.
And it doesn't even have to be a good reason.
Switch, yeah.
It doesn't even have to be a good reason. It could be that like the voice actor said some crosswise things, and so that's gone now because that voice actor said a thing. So it's that crazy. That meanwhile, again, like you don't have control of the game's settings like you had with RuneScape updating to change the body types around without your consent. That just happened. So again,
that's a different situation. That's an online game.
So like I said, though, is that this is an online situation where like these things are setting a standard to where like you have a private player experience that's preserved after the game goes out. So your game is your game. Yeah. And so that's what this is.
That's different than the RuneScape thing. Yeah.
This is for only European citizens right now. USA is not engaging in this. So if you are a European citizen somewhere out there, please feel free to go over to stopkillinggames.com. It'll redirect you over to the European site where, again, if you are a European citizen, I don't know how that authenticates because I am not, and I have not attempted. because I am not a naughty person. I would never do that. And so
I'll do it 5 times right now.
VPNs, baby. So again, the feel free to sign this if you believe in the cause. Again, familiarize yourself with the cause so that you're not signing just because you're mad at pirate software. Again, you can if you want to do that, but it would help to be informed because this will be coming to our shores. This will be a discussion that finds its way to the USA, and hopefully it'll be a bit more fleshed out by then.
So here's my take on all this. So starting with the pirate of it all, it's like he just sounds like he's being a gigantic crybaby, right? Like, oh, I don't want my game's reputation to be involved with this. Oh, stop talking about it. You entered into this conversation. You don't get to come in, start a bunch of shit, and then go, okay, I'm done, so it's all over now. Like, that's not how the real world works. Especially when you're trying to lie to people's faces and go, oh, my game isn't always online. It only requires you to talk to Steam. The entire thing, the reason I got so, like, I laughed at that is because Steam is not some omniscient, device inside of your computer. It can only authenticate that game if you go online. Like, that is the way to play it. So he's completely full of crap. And the idea of like, oh, it's a lot of money and it's so unfair to ask companies to anticipate this. Fuck that. You guys make millions and thousands of dollars and you're asking me to hand over my hard-earned $60, $70, $80 and it's too much work for you to, we're not asking you to add, oh, we're turning it off. We're going to keep hosting this offline. All this is asking you is that make it so that if you have a game, it is possible for somebody else to take the tools and either make their own server or just keep it alive somehow. So anything that Pirate is doing here, where he's trying to say, oh, this is bad. This is bad. What? Oh, leave me alone. He's full of crap. Like, I really can't abide by that at all. Like, it makes me think of less of him as a human being if you try to gaslight people like that and say things that are just flagrantly false. Like that is completely unconscionable to me. The big thing though is, unfortunately, this is not going to come to our shores. Like we right now we live in a political atmosphere where we are eroding all of these protections for you, me, everybody in the chat. Nobody right now, the corporations, they're not your friends. Remember that, guys. Billionaires, millionaires, they're not your friends. They're only out for themselves. So right now, they're pushing in that big, beautiful bill so much deregulation. None of this is going to matter. They're going to go, okay, who gives a shit? We're not going to enforce anything because my big buddy, donated $2 billion to Trump, and now they rolled back, we're not going to enforce this on consumers for 10 years on the internet. Like, it's never coming here because so long as we continue living in this very cruel MAGA sphere, right? Like, it's different than the MAGA from Trump 1. This is just cruelty and oligarchy that we're in now. So it's never coming here. But that is even more reason that we need to be really smart about, like Cider said, buy your games when you can physically, support places like GOG, where if you download that digitally or you buy it, it's yours forever. You can, as long as their servers are up, you can download it for as long as you want. If you have the hard copies of whatever you downloaded, yours forever. Hell, I'll go out and I'll say, if they're going to put arbitrary barriers on your use of a video game, it's your moral duty to go pirate, right? Like, all of that is crap. Anything that's, don't ever give like 1 foot, 1 inch to anybody who says we should, have less consumer protections, because it's never, ever going to just be, oh, think about this one scenario. It's going to be abused in the way that will let EA and Ubisoft just get away with shellacking us for all of time.
Well, from one piece of bad news to another piece of bad news. This is breaking news.
Sega's back.
Yeah, dude.
At least as an hour ago, Jim Shooter passed away.
That's crazy. If you guys don't know, Marvel editor-in-chief throughout the 70s, 80s, early 90s, the guy, like, I'm kind of stunned because so we don't have to get into it. It's a big, long thing, but like, Jim Shooter, very influential in comics, very responsible for a lot of the runs, a lot of the creative decisions we've seen, the Uncanny X-Men, for better or worse, things like the Clone Saga, he's had a history. He also has a history of being very difficult to work with, as in, like, he's a very hardline kind of guy, very, not aggressive, but very like imposing. but it's kind of like, yeah, he has that reputation, but also sometimes you need that kind of an asshole behind you to really get good work. And it's like, I don't know if we would have gotten all that cool stuff out of Marvel in the 80s if it weren't for Shooter.
Yeah, if we didn't have standards, we would have been stuck with Ironheart. So I mean, yeah,
we would have gotten it way earlier, right? So yeah, no, this is really this is heartbreaking. He was one of the last big voices, guys, that was really against the idea of just race swapping and gender swapping everybody. Like, if you go onto the Bounding site, the last 4 articles we did with Jim is he's at conventions and he's like, yeah, that was stupid. Marvel doesn't know what the hell they're doing. So definitely a legend, definitely heartbreaking, definitely something I'll be writing up when we're done here tonight. But man, all the good creators are dying. I mean, that's just us getting older now, but man, I always joked about this point when I was in high school, someday all of our heroes and celebrities are going to die, and we're hitting it now, and I'm not ready to accept it.
How about that? Jim was supposed to be at Heroes Con this year, but he was not feeling well, and now we know why. Yeah, he had to bow out because he wasn't feeling well. So, yep, he was to be there with Claremont.
Because that means you were in his.
I don't think that he even made it to North Carolina if he wasn't already there.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Again, it wasn't described to us what he was ill with, but these guys, if they can't make it to a convention and they're this age, it's kind of there's a 50-50 shot if whatever's got him is going to get him, and that's...
I mean, the man was 73 years old. Yeah.
He smoked most of his life, right? I mean,
yeah, no, he did. He did.
It's not like that got him, but I'm sure it didn't help. But that, again, I'm not trying to wipe my ass with the guy.
No, you're not. No, that's...
there's a lot of people... There's a lot of people that love what this guy created, what he was able to do with the bullpen he was put in charge of. And so, absolutely, Mr. Shooter delivered arguably what made Marvel. And still today, colors of it, because we see Secret Wars coming out soon as a movie.
Yep.
And that is really the success of that was really dependent on his iron will, his iron fist, if you will.
Yes.
Of how he handled
Ironheart.
Because there's only way to handle these huge events like that is to make sure that people fear God. That
pretty freaking much. Yeah,
you will lose your job if you fuck up this vision. You understand me? You have one option, and that is to do your job. That's it. And to close this out, we do have a bit of, again, sad news. James Gunn has confirmed that Static Shock will not be joining the DCU anytime soon. He said there's a whole bunch of complexities behind that character right now. So that tells me that I guess DC does not have the final say with the Milestone IP.
Yeah, that's what that tells me.
And it might be saving Static from an incredibly stilted attempt at taking Miles Morales down. So I'm very glad that they're not going to be using...
Oh my God, Cider. I didn't even think about that kind of possibility. Wow. They definitely would.
I see your black guy. I'll raise you my black guy. He has electric powers instead of Spider-Man powers.
Well, but now my Spider-Man has electric powers. Oh, well, now my electric superhero, his origin is a Black Lives Matter protest. Oh, now my Spider-Man, and it's just one up.
Yeah, and that's unfortunately, I think that's how they would introduce Static now. Is he would be like the nuclear deterrent for Miles Morales, and it just would be incredibly ham-fisted. It would probably feel a lot like Blue Beetle, in that there was really good intention behind it, but it just couldn't find its footing. So
it would have good intention, couldn't find its footing, and then DC Studios, not even like James, probably James, but to be nice, I'll say Warner Brothers, they couldn't resist hitting that marketing angle. You know what I mean? There's no way we get out of a Static Shock movie without, an actual Static Shock music inspired by the movie. That's all just 12 rap songs or something like that. That Warner Brothers would do that.
That Warner Brothers would try and not would try and ham-fist all the activist stuff from the comics, and not the stay true to the animated series that
the Dwayne McDuffie's. Yeah. No, yeah. It would go really off the rails really, really, really fast. Which
especially with Ta-Nehisi Coates still around, he would definitely want to be.
Oh God,
I'm glad I haven't seen his name on anything in a while, but he's still out there in the shadows,
lurking. So
We
Sakura
tell
Mita
stories
did
to our
do
kids.
Sakura Mita did do some anime stuff for
Oh,
us,
look at
apparently.
that.
These are
Looks
based
exactly
on
like
screenshot.
her.
So
Cute.
Spencer.
Hey, that's me. He's even got the gray shirt that I'm wearing it right now.
Wow. Spencerception.
On point.
And I'm even sweaty right now, so there we go. It's great. I have the lone
No,
light bulb.
That's because you're in charge of all this. You're steering the ship right now.
Very
We're just
sweaty.
giving really bad like updates to the mess hall. We're going into the sun if not for you.
And Jacob is surrounded by his beliefs. So there we have it.
That's not
Like
even my
actually
new
his
setup.
house. Yeah, what the hell? See, AI is not a machine. There's just a small man who lives in all of our cameras who does quick paintings.
No,
that
it was like
was
that
awesome.
AI that was just Indians. Remember that
Yeah,
one?
yeah.
It was just Indians. There's like 700 Indians. That's what that AI was. Just 700 Indians answering your questions, drawing your pictures.
Just like Googling real quick. Oh, hold on.
Yeah. Hey, Grok, can you answer this for me? Yes, sir. Hold on just a second, sir.
Yes, sir. Working.
Man, why does my phone smell like a Howard Johnson's?
I don't even. That's got to be a you problem because like I don't. Maybe Jacob has a Howard Johnson's. Nerdigans and I definitely
They don't.
have
They don't
Howard
exist
Johnson's.
anymore. that went the way of. Gosh, you probably don't even know what Lavertier's is. So
No, I don't. I just this week discovered A&W was like a
Oh.
restaurant.
yeah, not
Wait,
just.
you didn't, wait, what? You didn't know
root
A&W
beer.
was a restaurant? Like
They didn't have
A&W
them down in SoCal.
they've been up here in like north
They
and
have
West
'em,
central for like a while.
Well,
And,
hold
like,
Hold on. I think we found the topic for Untitled Nostalgia Show this week is bygone restaurant chains that nobody's ever heard of, but we're
Nobody
totally
ever heard
real.
of.
It's not a bygone restaurant chain. Like that's like the best place to go to get like root beer on tap.
Okay, because you said it right
would
there,
hope.
Nerdigans. So I said you went, you've never seen an A&W, and I went, they don't exist in Southern California, and you went, they're all up here. They've been up here in NorCal forever. And it's funny you say that because that's where I saw it. Like I went to NorCal a couple weekends ago for a friend's wedding, and driving in, I was like, "What the hell? An A&W?" So yeah, I don't know them.
A&W KFC combo.
No, this one was actually by itself.
Yeah, because like a lot
A
of them
what?
are combined with KFC.
I
Like,
remember
seeing
that.
a solo
Yeah.
A&W by itself is a rare thing nowadays. But yeah.
So
Yeah, so I
we
was
have
blown away.
Taco Bell KFC, and we call that shit nugget.
I actually like that. I've never heard that term. We have those too.
We
But
have
holy
more
crap.
Taco like if anything, if Taco Bell's combined with anything, it's like Pizza Hut up here. But like, yeah, if our KFCs are more so combined with A&W.
I remember in SoCal, I specifically bought like the R2D2 like Taco Bell Phantom Menace like tie-in cup from a Taco Bell in SoCal that was connected to a KFC. Because it was the same
amazing.
KFC that I got my my Masked Rider toys from, because they did a line for Masked Rider when they tried to do that here. And then the 4 random Pokemon plushies they did. Remember those Nerdigans where it's like Vulpix, Zubat, Steel.
Dratini,
Like, okay, sure. Those are the Pokemon. I remember like my sister got the Zubat one and she was excited, but I was like, who wants a plush of the thing that we all get mad at when we're walking through like Mount Moon? Like, what are you doing over there, Nintendo?
It's literally a flying rat with its mouth open. Like, come on. But anyway, that's what's going on. So we'd like to thank Sakura Mita for that. Much appreciated. Those were very cute.
Definitely, bud.
Very well done. And that's it for the show. That's what I have.
Yeah, anybody else got anything they want to drop before we get out of here? Anything they want to laugh at, talk about, bring up?
No. So what we have coming up for tomorrow's show?
All right, Nerdigans, where do we find you when the show's over?
So you can find me on Nerdigans Sing on YouTube, where we cover anime and manga every day. And right after this, I will be recording Blue Lock chapter 309 because I got early access thanks to my connections. And on Patreon, patreon.com/packergirl. We are starting summer anime season, and it really kicked off with a bang with Takapi's Original Sin. Oh my god, it is
Oh, that's
so
started now. Yeah.
good. Yeah,
Togepi's Original Sin.
Dude,
It's literally all I
it's
can hear
really
when we
good.
talk about it. Yeah, is
It's-
Togepi's Original Sin.
Yeah, but that anime, it's only 6 episodes, which I'm not surprised, but it's everything
is?
about
Oh, wow.
yeah, because it's only 15 chapters, but it's.
Yeah,
I was worried for a minute, but it's 37 minutes. The first episode was 37 minutes, so that's why I'm like, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
yeah, but like it's everything in manga to anime adaptation should be. It is beautiful. It's
Good.
beautiful. And it's not. I was worried because the director said they were toning it down. They did, minus like
Yeah, I
maybe the
remember
clothes not
that,
being
yeah.
beat up as much as I'd like them to like it to be. They didn't tone it down at the parts
Yeah.
where it really
Nerdigans
counted.
really wants to see the children get bullied into,
I mean, like this, like a lot of people really. This series is really traumatizing. It really is. But anyways,
I know, I'm just teasing you.
but yeah, we're gonna be covering Togen Anki when it comes out. There's Panty and Stocking coming out soon. There's there's Grand Blue season 2. There's a lot of stuff coming out in the next couple weeks or so. We also are keeping an eye out for what's to come from Anime Expo. We know that Fist of the North Star is getting a trailer. Based on that, Steel Ball Run might be getting a trailer at Anime Expo as well at the Warner Brothers panel. There's a lot more news coming out of there too that we'll be keeping an eye out and probably be writing articles about for Bounding as well. There's also quite a few woke panels over there too. But other than that, yeah, we have the bet article just about done. I just got to put maybe one more image and some links in there.
What a stupid name. I hate when we refer to that.
I know, it's so dumb.
It's not on us, but it's just it's on them and it's dumb.
I know. I had to I was so tempted to just do a full comparison thing. I'm like, no. That's gonna be too long.
Yeah, I was gonna say Nerdigans, you're like, no, I know myself. I'm gonna be here for 3 months.
I just had to I just did a paragraph basically saying, yeah, this is anything but bet, literally everything. The only thing that basically has anything to do with Kakegurui is the premise.
Yeah,
and
then barely
Kakegurui in with the Kakegurui club being the student council. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
I still can't believe that they had a house pet hunt in this series. I'm like, really? You did that?
You said, the CW.
No, but considering how diverse this is, you're shooting black people with a bow and arrow. You people are nuts. But also I'm doing my podcast on Thursday nights, my nerdy cast on Thursday nights, and I'm covering a lot of the stuff that I'm putting up on my Twitter, which is right there. I've been going through the Witch Watch dub, and oh my god, that thing is horrible. You thought what we saw in the Dragon Ball Daima dub was bad? Witch Watch has got to be the worst freaking dub I've seen since Lovely Complex. It is bad. Jeez. It is bad. They said
I haven't heard anything about that.
Oh my god, I gotta pull it up real quick. I'm sorry, I have to, because this line is unbelievable. They changed this one line about Marvel in relation to Marvel, and I lost it. Hold on, let me just find it real quick. Where did I put it in my bookmarks? Because I know I have it somewhere.
This is the one you were telling me about earlier, where they were
it's the one
the MCU.
Yeah, it was. Here it is. Okay, so what the line was supposed to be is, "Are you the damn Avengers?" What am I seeing here? They changed that to, "That's enough. You clowns are practically begging for a lawsuit from Marvel." I'm dead serious.
Wow.
Jeez, yeah.
Yeah, it's
just
bad.
Ruining the full joke. Yeah.
Yeah, they even there's the worst keywords. Icky is in here. It is bad. It is really bad. Spencer, I'll send you some of the screenshots. It is horrible. I gotta still go through the rest of it, but I went through episode 10 yesterday, and I still gotta go through episodes 5. I think it's 5 through 9. But yeah, it's really, really nasty. But anyways, that's besides the point. But yeah, I'll be here for the nostalgia show this time. And we'll see what else is in store besides that. Anyways.
Okay then. And Jacob, when the show's over, where do we find you? If you're still
you'll
awake.
find me. Yeah, I'm still awake. You'll find me over at Society Reviews. We got the Ballroom coming up tomorrow night. We're gonna talk about how Glastonbury, is that what it's called? That music event out in England turned into an entire shit show because you had artists out there calling for the death of white people and Jews, and now they've been blacklisted by their own country. I think they've actually been banned from the United States of America. This is how bad it's gotten. We'll talk about what happened there over the weekend. Major League Baseball fan has been banned from every ballpark in America after saying something very derogatory about a dead player's mother. We'll talk about Ironheart, and then we're also going to finish the 2002 VMAs tomorrow as well. So we got that coming up. On Sunday, we have our guys, Technical Work Rate Production. A bunch of people have asked us to do a part 2 of our WWE and Satanism series, so we're actually coming back and doing part 2 because there's actually a lot of stuff that happened in the course of the last year, especially the last couple of months, that need to be talked about. I talked about it a little bit with the Rhea Ripley situation. We're going to go more depth into that one. That's going to be this Sunday night coming up there. And then now that I'm at my new place, I have a lot of catching up to do. There's a lot of movies that I need to catch up on this week, so it's going to be a big content week for me. You'll be seeing a lot of my movie reviews coming back up. I got a lot to catch up on over the last couple of months, so that's what I got work coming up on. And then we'll see you guys Saturday for the nostalgia show as well.
Yep.
So
all right,
there you go.
And Spencer, when the show's over, where do we find you?
As always, guys, you can find me and everybody else here on boundingintothecomics.com, where we're putting up new news every day. Thank every single one of you for coming and hanging out with us tonight on our new night. It seems like it's working out kind of well for everybody, so I think we'll probably stay here, but I appreciate everybody making the leap with us. Go subscribe to Jacob. Go subscribe to Nerdigans. Subscribe here so you can see Cider, and let Cider let you know what he's got going on. Check out the site for new news after this, and that's really all I've got. See you next week.
Yeah, this is all.
Yo, not my proudest fact. What a sight. Barrel fat protect, barrel fat protect. $35 Kong ho, shame ignites. Barrel fat protect, barrel fat protect. Alright, stop, stash the plush and listen. Donkey Kong's barrel's my secret mission. That banana hole's got me acting shady, fapping in the dark, feeling kinda crazy. Will it ever stop? Yo, I need a guard. 15 inches deep, this is way too hard. To the extreme, I'm a fool with a toy. Nintendo's mad, but I'm lost in the joy. Dance to the rhythm of my regret. Supervision's due, but I ain't there yet. I'm fapping to a plush that's too bold. That DK logo's watching me unfold. Love it or leave it, I'm caught in a jam. Roommates might see, oh, the ultimate scam. If this is a problem, yo, I'll hide it. Check out my shame while my soul's divided. Barrel fat protect.